All right, buckle up because this story is wild. We're talking about a snake, not just any snake, a weak snake who somehow unlocked consciousness and became self-aware. This reptile went from zero to hero, learning how to actually think, strategize, and survive against cultivators who literally specialize in catching snakes. And trust me, this snake is about to devour demonic beasts 100 times his size. The manhwa is called Snake Immortal, the tale of a snake's cultivation to immortality. Let's dive in. So we're starting in this rural village. The sun's setting, people are heading home, and there's this dude warning everyone to light incense and lock their doors tight. Why? Because there's this old black snake terrorizing the area. Apparently this snake ate 2 people at the mountain god temple just a few days ago, and one of them was a cultivator. Yeah, you heard that right. A cultivator got eaten by a snake. The other villager is like, wait, people got eaten? I only heard about chickens and ducks disappearing. A kid nearby tells his dad they should bring the chickens inside, even though it'll stink, because losing chickens to a giant snake is worse. The dad agrees, and they hurry home, complaining about how creepy all the abandoned houses feel. Cut to inside one of those abandoned houses. There's a snake chilling there, and he's listening to everything. He's offended, actually. He hears them calling him old and scary, and he's like, "Excuse me? I'm not old. I'm not scary." But yeah, okay, he did eat those 2 people a few days ago. Flashback time. There's this guy screaming for help, and someone's calling him a human-shaped pill, telling him he's got to pay with his life after fattening up on medicinal herbs. The dude is begging for mercy, praying to the mountain god. Back then, our snake couldn't understand human speech, but the guy looked so miserable that the snake decided to put him out of his misery and just ate him. Merciful, right? Then another person showed up. This old man is devastated because that was his human-shaped pill that he spent 10 years refining. He's demanding the snake give it back. The snake, being kind, decided to reunite them by eating the old man too. Problem solved. But here's where it gets crazy. The moment he ate that old man, the snake had a breakthrough. He developed a demon core and awakened intelligence. From that point on, he learned all kinds of terrifying things about the world. Like those guys in black clothes who were always chasing him? They're called snake catchers from the snake catcher sect. He once watched them surround this massive python, and he realized these human cultivators are seriously powerful. They can keep leveling up through cultivation stages: chi refinement, foundation establishment, core formation, nascent soul. The snake understood his previous escapes were pure luck. Humans are scary, but cultivators are scarier. Now that he's smart, the snake decided hunting birds and humans is too risky. Stealing chickens is safer. His stomach growls. A couple chickens aren't cutting it anymore, and they're getting harder to steal anyway. He heard Chunlan's village has rich people raising pigs, so he's switching targets. He also noticed humans love naming themselves, and he's tired of being called old when he's not old. So he names himself Snaky. Perfect name, no notes. That night at Chenlan's village, Snaky creeps into a pig pen. The pigs are completely clueless. Snaky spots a fat pig and knows that's dinner. He checks if the humans are asleep, then goes all in. The other pigs wake up screaming and running. Snaky's telling them to shut up because they're going to get him killed, but he's already devouring another pig. He's happy and full. Too full. He ate way too much. He decides to sleep it off since there's time before humans wake up. That'll help him digest before bouncing. 2 hours later, some dude is screaming about a brat stealing his woman. Someone suggests he stops hitting Chen Fan because the guy stopped breathing. But this dude doesn't care because the brat stole Master Chu's woman, so they're dragging him to the pig pen. Snaky wakes up and sees them coming. Humans are terrifying, so he hides. They throw the unconscious guy into the pig pen. Snaky is hiding in the ceiling behind some planks, praying they don't notice him. One guy confirms the brat stopped breathing. The other says good, his corpse can be pig food. They leave, complaining about the smell, and one notices there are fewer pigs now. Snaky is relieved. The pigs approach the body. Snaky remembers dead humans are bad luck, so he's about to leave when suddenly the guy's eyes snap open. Bloodshot eyes. Snaky nearly jumps out of his scales. Was this guy faking death this whole time? Then the man starts laughing like a maniac, announcing that he, an immortal, finally possessed someone and reincarnated. Coincidentally, the body's name and his name are both Chen Fan. This immortal soul is trash-talking the previous owner, saying his engagement was called off and his core was destroyed, but he's gonna get revenge for the poor guy. Snakey's wondering who this lunatic is talking to. The immortal inspects the body, noting it's heavily injured and would have died if he hadn't possessed it, but injuries are nothing to him. Snakey knows staying is a bad idea. The man turns around and sees Snakey. He realizes it's a spiritual beast. Snakey panics internally. Is this guy a high-level cultivator? Worse, a snake catcher? What should he do? But the man dismisses him as a low-level spiritual beast not even worth his time. He sits down cross-legged, circulating energy to heal and release spiritual energy to scare the snake away. An item appears. The man is shocked. The divine demon cauldron, a supreme treasure of the demon clan, reincarnated with his divine sense. He mutters that the ancient dragon of the void was mistaken. Snakey thinks this snake catcher is casting spells to kill him for eating 2 pigs. He's overthinking hard because he doesn't want to die yet. Should he return the pigs? He already digested them. The man continues his spell. Snakey feels cornered, so he does the only logical thing. He opens his mouth wide and lunges at the man. He keeps thinking he was forced to do this. The man is shocked as half his body slides into the snake's mouth. Snakey swallows him whole. He's happy he did it, but he can't relax. He crawls away as fast as possible because this place isn't safe anymore. Inside Snakey's belly, the man is alive and furious. A lowly first-level spiritual beast ambushed him. He gave the snake a chance to run, but instead it ate him. The man gathers strength and uses Fury Boundless Ocean, a powerful punch. Snakey feels that. The man keeps punching his gut from the inside. Snakey is shocked this dude isn't dead and can cast spells inside his stomach. The pain is unreal, but Snakey forces himself to stay calm. Eventually, the man finds Snakey's demon core. There's a protective shield around it. The man thinks Snakey is acting cocky, but for Snakey, it's literally his lifeline. The man grips it. Cracks form. Snakey coughs up blood. This pain is insane. Snakey is writhing, wondering if this is the end. Snake catchers are absolutely terrifying. Snakey can't move anymore. He's frustrated because he worked so hard to condense his demon core and awaken intelligence. He sheds a tear, regretting going to that stupid place to steal filthy pigs. Meanwhile, the man is munching on Snakey's insides to nourish himself. Suddenly, the divine demonic cauldron appears and moves away from him. He chases it but struggles to retrieve it. Suddenly, everything goes bright. Yellow mist forms into a menacing dragon face. The man realizes the cauldron absorbed the beast's demon core fragments. He can't believe the cauldron is helping the beast. It dawns on him, this isn't just an ordinary snake. The cauldron makes a sound. The dragon roars. The man gets enveloped in a beam of light that shoots out of Snakey's mouth and eyes. Snakey writhes in agony. The man's skin is burning. He can't accept this because he's an immortal. Eventually, nothing is left of him. The sun rises. Birds chirp. Snakey's body is torn apart on the ground, but then a pig starts trembling because something is crawling. It's Snakey. He's alive, shedding tears over his broken demon core. He's laying in a puddle that reflects the dragon from the cauldron. The next day, pigs are biting Snakey's tail like it's a buffet. One pig chomps down. Suddenly, the tail moves and launches the pig into the air. Snakey rises, telling them to stop biting his tail. He vows to devour all of them later. The pigs run for their lives. Snakey's tail aches. He's annoyed but also confused he's alive. He remembers his demon core was shattered by that person. The demon core is the foundation of cultivation for every demonic beast. How is he supposed to cultivate without it? Snakey cries, assuming he's done for. But wait, he's alive, despite his demon core being shattered. How? Then it hits him. The divine demonic cauldron that human mentioned. It's sitting where his demon core should be. Did it replace his demon core and save his life? Now he can see inside his body. Not just his body, he can see inside the pigs too. This must be divine sense that cultivators have. He's thrilled. He can see even with his eyes closed. Hunting and evading just became way more convenient. But there's more. Information floods his brain. It's the cultivation technique from the man he devoured. Snakey feels his head itchy, a sign his brain is growing. He doesn't know what use it has, but it must heal injuries. He decides to imitate the technique and channel energy. He tries to recall the chant but settles on channeling naturally. He focuses on his demon core and feels something. The aura around him slowly gathers. A few moments later, his tail starts healing. He's amazed. Just a few deep breaths and spiritual energy fills his body. His body feels refreshed, like he ate spiritual herbs. The technique's primary use must be increasing cultivation, with healing as a bonus. His demon core shattered, so by logic, he shouldn't be able to store spiritual energy. The cauldron must be his new demon core. He doesn't overthink it and sets off to find a place to sleep for a few days. Mental note: a random young man was that strong, so he shouldn't mess with humans in the future. A few days later, Snakey suddenly understands the human cultivation system. Turns out demonic beast cultivation is the same as human methods. It's separated into realms: spiritual awakening, foundation establishment, demon core, nascent soul. It's like evolving into a higher being. His current cultivation is peak first level of spiritual awakening, equal to peak first level chi refinement for humans. In his dreams, Snakey sees demonic beasts splitting heaven and earth. It makes him yearn for power. The spiritual energy of heaven and earth. Just absorbing spiritual energy isn't enough. Cultivators and demonic beasts need food to survive. If Snakey wants to break through, he needs lots of energy and blood to replenish. That means lots of food. Later that night, he spots a boar happily eating watermelon in a field. It's big and dangerous. According to the cultivation system, Snakey is peak first-level spiritual awareness, and the boar doesn't have intelligence and its level is below Snakey's. As long as Snakey is prepared, he can fill his stomach. He holds a stone in his mouth, thinking it's enough to kill the boar. He creeps behind it. But Snakey stops midway because the boar is looking at him with menacing eyes. All he can do is sarcastically ask if the watermelon is ripe. His alibi doesn't work. The boar roars. Snakey runs fast. The boar chases him. He reaches a dead end. He can't keep running, so he needs full power or he's done. He throws stones at the boar as a first strike. The stone hits. The boar bleeds, and it drops dead. Snakey is dumbfounded. A few stones? That's all it took? He can't believe he's that strong. Since he thinks the boar is smart enough to play dead, he throws more stones. After a while, he's convinced it's dead. He even thinks he almost got countered when he'd already killed it for real. He approaches and decides to prevent it from faking by pulling its leg. To be really sure, he dismembers it. Finally assured, he eats it. But something stops him mid-chew. He vomits something hard. It's a demon core. This wasn't a normal boar, it was a demonic boar. Snakey feels scared now. Demon cores contain explosive energy. He can't swallow it raw or he might explode. If he wants to absorb it, he needs pills. But he doesn't know how to make pills. In the wild, demonic beasts swallow corpses and cores together. He thinks about it. If beasts exploded from swallowing cores raw, they'd be extinct by now. His knowledge is focused on humans. Human and demonic beast physiques are different. He should be able to eat it without worry. He opens his mouth really wide and swallows the core. He complains it's hard to swallow. Afterwards, his stomach feels hot. The divine demonic cauldron inside absorbs the demon core's power. The power fills the cauldron. He feels a sensation. It's a breakthrough. A few moments later, his body shines. Snakey reached second-level spiritual awareness realm. He's so happy. 2 scales on his tail turned gold. He smashes a rock with his tail. The feeling is amazing. The scale is strong as steel. He's crawling on grass when he notices something. A human. A young man. Our MC starts panicking. In the watermelon field, Snakey encounters a boy holding a pitchfork. He wonders what this boy is trying to do. Judging from his stance, he looks ready to attack. Is this person a cultivator? Maybe someone like Chen Fan? Snakey senses danger, so he moves his body to push the fork away. It breaks into pieces. He crawls as fast as possible to escape in case the boy's companions show up. He's terrified. The boy is puzzled until he realizes something. He immediately runs home and tells his dad the old black snake devoured the demon pig that killed his mom, but the snake got scared of him and ran away. Meanwhile, Snakey makes his way into the forest. He's relieved the boy didn't follow. He finds it weird until he realizes it could just be a normal boy. Snakey pouts, calling himself a coward. Is he delusional? Fearful of young men? He's disappointed in himself, especially when he's a demon determined to become a primordial beast. He doesn't want to stay this way. Since he already arrived at the mountain god temple, he decides to go inside and pray like humans do. Since he obtained his intelligence there, it could be his land of fortune. It's late at night. Snakey heard having inner demons is taboo in cultivation. To overcome inner demons, one must be sincere. Then Snakey smells something nice. Offerings on the altar, whole roasted chicken, apples, peaches. He's drooling. He immediately jumps onto the table, justifying that the mountain god wouldn't want food to go to waste. If he helps eat the food before praying, it shows sincerity, right? Snakey finishes his meal with a loud burp. Holding 3 sticks with his tail, he prays to the mountain god to protect him and help him overcome his inner demon so he can cultivate successfully. He sincerely prays for a blessing to stay alive. Suddenly, he's interrupted with a loud laugh. A man asks a little miss where she's trying to run. The girl screams for help. Snakey feels annoyed there are humans again. A woman runs inside the temple, while a man tells his disciples to wait outside while he has some fun. Snakey hides and observes. He judges the woman an idiot for running into a dead end. The mountain temple has one entrance. Because of this, Snakey can't escape without being discovered. He decides to wait and see. The man calls himself Master Chu and tells the girl no. Woman has refused him once he sets his eyes on her. The woman trembles, holding out a knife. She yells at him not to come near. Master Chu tells her to think twice or he'll make her life worse than death. The woman threatens that even if she can't kill him, she can kill herself and he won't get anything. The name Master Chu sounds familiar to Snakey. He remembers the pigpen incident. This is the man who threw Chen Fan into the pigsty. Snakey assumes this man is an expert since he beat Chen Fan half to death. Snakey is careful not to be discovered. The man grabs the woman and covers her mouth. Snakey wonders if he's in heat, thinking humans are weird since they can go into heat any time, unlike him who only has that during spring. The woman is being forcefully undressed. While Snakey watches, he thinks about which part of that weak body attracted Master Chu. To him, if the woman was left on the mountain, she'd get devoured immediately. Master Chu grabs the knife, scolding her for daring to, threatens suicide and acting arrogance. He says he'll take advantage of her before killing her. Snakey comments that Master Chu is muscular, but an idiot. The woman is angry at Chu Gong for forcing her to break off her engagement, killing her lover Chen Fan, and now trying to harass her. She vows she won't let him be at peace, even if she becomes a ghost. Snakey watches while munching on snacks held by the mountain god statue's hand. He comments that if killing isn't for food, it's not necessary. He prays for the mountain god to protect him and make them leave immediately after they're done. But Snakey didn't expect the hand to detach from the statue. It falls and shatters on the ground, catching both humans' attention. Master Chu asks who's hiding. The woman thought it was the mountain god manifesting. Chu Gong asks who's behind the mountain god. The woman runs toward it, seeking salvation. She kneels, praying hard to be saved. Snakey's face, when discovered, is hilarious. Immediately, woman screams there's a demon. Chu Gang asks where. He's frozen, holding the knife. When the woman turns around, she's accidentally stabbed in the chest. Chu Gang turns red. He curses out loud, turning pale. His men rush inside, asking what happened, if he finished quickly. He calls them idiots, saying there's a demon in the temple. They look around, asking where it went. He's angry it hid behind the statue and ruined his fun. Chu Gang announces he's an outer disciple of the snake catcher sect. Snakey gets nervous. Since Snakey isn't showing himself, Chu Gang tells his men to check. They search near the statue. Snakey panics that he's about to die. But rather than waiting for death, he decides to risk it and comes out baring his fangs. The men are terrified, but Chu Gang dismisses it, saying it's not even 7 feet, nothing to fear. Chu Gang plans to kill it with one attack after gathering energy. If he brings it as a gift, he can officially join the snake catcher sect. He tells his men to hold the snake, since the sect's space-splitting palm needs time to gather energy. He promises to reward whoever helps kill it. Snakey judges the strongest is Master Chu. His plan is to kill everyone before Master Chu finishes gathering energy. Only then can he live. He attacks. That's when Snakey realizes those guys are weak. Master Chu trembles in fear. He can't imagine they died in a blink. It makes him wonder what kind of monster this is. He runs toward the exit, threatening the snake. Snakey is confused why he's running instead of gathering energy. Chu Gang threatens the snake, saying he'll ask his master to make a pill out of it. Snakey expected things wouldn't be simple, so he can't let him escape. Snakey whacks Chu Gang's head with his tail, intending to shatter his brain. He drags him inside. He's relieved Chu Gang ran instead of gathering energy. He feels fortunate avoiding another danger. Snakey reflects he encountered danger because he ate the mountain god's offering, wonders if the mountain god is angry. The worry makes him think of replacing the offerings. He arranges the corpses on the altar. Once properly placed, he prays to the mountain god not to blame him and that he's offering these people. He assumes he pacified the mountain god's anger. Then he interprets the scenario as a message from the mountain god to hasten cultivation. Otherwise, he'll keep hiding his entire life. He thanks the mountain god for the message and assures him he'll return to the mountain and cultivate immediately. Even when Snakey leaves, the statue remains unchanged. 1 week later, Snakey cultivated for a week, yet he still needs lots of spiritual fog to fill the second level. Not only do small beasts fail to satisfy his hunger, they don't contribute much to cultivation. He wishes for another demonic boar. He set up a trap, a basket with string, but no prey yet. He thinks the principle that one shouldn't wait for things to fall into their lap applies. He's getting impatient since it's been days without finding pigs. He complains it's hard to fill his stomach, let alone cultivate. He drools at watermelon in front of him. Since pigs eat watermelon and he eats pig, maybe he should try eating watermelon directly. He hears someone talking, a boy with his father walking on the road. They're returning from catching lots of fish since the river level rose. Snakey recognizes the boy with the pitchfork. He deduces they own the watermelon farm. The boy senses something. Snakey can't believe the boy found him, even from far away. The boy runs. His father asks where he's going. Snakey panics since the boy is coming his direction. He climbs a tree and hides. The boy places the basket full of fish under the tree. Snakey is curious what he's doing. To his surprise, the boy runs away after putting it down. The boy calls the old black snake, telling him the fish is for him to return a favor. Snakey gets excited. He can't believe the boy gave him fish, but Snakey is suspicious. Is it poisoned? The sight of fresh fish is tempting, though. He settles to look, but not eat. Then he convinces himself it's okay to try one. He's pleased it has no poison taste, so he tries another. And another. He enjoys how delicious it is. The boy is pleased seeing the old black snake enjoying the food. A man stops the boy. The boy asks who this tall man is. The man barely shows any skin because of black clothing. The man asks if the boy has seen an old black snake recently. Dangling from the man's hip is a tag that says, "Snake." The boy recognizes it's someone from the snake catcher sect. He wonders if the man is there to catch the old black snake. The man rudely urges the boy to speak. When the boy doesn't, they think he became mute. Eventually, the boy answers he's never seen any old black snake. The tall man is called Ding. The man behind him says it must be the one who devoured a human and he's taking the fall. Snakey and the eel monster end up underwater. Snakey sees it's injured, probably from fighting the snake catchers. He has no idea why it's attacking him when he's just passing by. He realizes it might be on the run from when the snake catchers found it, and now it's trying to eat him to replenish itself. Snakey takes it as a challenge and decides to treat it as his food for hibernation. But then he thinks about it. Since it escaped from the snake catchers, it must be pretty strong. He swims away, telling himself hunting it is dangerous and his life is more important. Snakey is in a dire situation since the eel has made up its mind to catch him. The monster is persistent, and Snakey is almost out of breath. He thinks if he uses his full strength at its weaker part like the stomach, he'll be able to escape. He makes up his mind to fight until the end. He chomps down on it, but he's disgusted. The meat is slimy with a weird taste. Suddenly the meat burns even underwater. Snakey is confused since even the surrounding water caught fire. He thinks it's an illusion from the eel's mucus. Snakey tries to determine if he actually feels burned. Then Snakey remembers Chen Fan's cultivation technique. When facing an illusion, one must focus their mind first. Snakey concentrates all his energy into a single point of consciousness. He uses divine sense and destroys the illusion. He's so pleased he did it, but right after shattering it, he's faced with the eel monster's wide mouth. He just closes his eyes since he can't avoid it. Surprisingly, his tail hits its mouth, and Snakey's tail became so sharp that it smoothly slices the eel's body in half. He's shocked by what just happened. He can't believe his tail split the demonic eel into two pieces. His golden scale is insanely sharp. If he cultivates until it covers his entire body, he might be invincible. But he knows not to be careless, since there was still luck involved in the battle. Since the demonic eel was heavily injured, it must have mistakenly slammed straight into his golden scale. Snakey decides to hide in the mountain and be careful. He's out of breath because he collected all the demonic eel meat. It should be enough for him to cultivate inside the mountain for a few months. With the demon core, it should be enough for him to break through into the third level of spiritual awareness realm. Our boy Snakey notices something. A badge with the word snake at the center. That's when he realizes the demonic eel devoured a snake catcher. He talks to his fellow demon, even if it's just meat now. He states it helped him deal with danger, but it still tried to hunt him, so all he can do is follow the law of nature. He assures the eel he'll enjoy him properly and won't let his death be in vain, including his demon core. Snakey devours it, but he has a hard time swallowing. He doesn't persist since the snake catchers will arrive any time. He holds it in his mouth while dragging the meat by tying it to his tail. Later on, the snake catchers inspect a corpse, figure out why the demonic eel escaped so quickly inside the river. They realize the one devouring people in the river was a water demon, not the old black snake. And the one who fought the water demon in that area is the old black snake. They wonder if they should pursue it. The mountain in front of them is Iron Bear Mountain. There's a massive bear demon with a cultivation base at third-level spiritual awareness realm over there. They know not to underestimate its strength. The mountain is wide and full of forest. They might not find the old black snake even if it takes them months. And there's also risk they might encounter the bear demon. The man with Ding asks how he knows all this. Ding explains that a few days ago, the old black snake devoured a pillmaster from the Astronomical Bureau, as well as the human-shaped pill he nurtured for years. The man inquires further, then realizes the human-shaped pill's medicine effect must still be in the snake's body. This man knows his senior brother has been stuck at third-level true refinement realm for years, and to encounter such a fortuitous opportunity. He suggests they take the chance secretly. Ding is pleased with the sharpness of this brat, but still, it's just the two of them. It would be too dangerous to go into the mountains. He's concerned they'd be going for wool and coming back shorn. The junior replies they have nothing to worry about, since in a few months the mountains will be covered in snow. By that time, both the snake demon and bear will go into hibernation. Then, they can go into the mountains and gain what they want. Meanwhile, Snakey feels really warm inside the cave. He decides to hide there for a few months. He's oblivious of the danger that could lead him to be an offering for cultivation. 2 months later, the forest turns white from snow. Snakey sighs. He didn't expect breaking through from second to third level spiritual awareness would be so much harder compared to first to second level. He refined the demon core, blood, and flesh he obtained back then. He even continued cultivating for more days, but he still hasn't broken through. But at least he made minor accomplishments. 3 more golden scales appeared on his tail. The spiritual fog inside the cauldron is full. He's at least at peak second level. Now he just needs an opportunity. Then he'll break through to third level. It's unfortunate winter arrived. Snakey can feel his body getting stiff, and he's only left with a little eel flesh. All he can do now is go into hibernation. He decides to wait until next spring to go out of the mountain and hunt food for cultivation. A man walks through the snowy forest. This man from the snake catcher sect tells people that those who help them search the mountain will be rewarded with a string of coins. He tells them to stay focused and find it properly. A man replies to Sir Taoist, assuring him the people of Snake Village are highly skilled at catching snakes.
Sir, Taoist reiterates to find it quickly. The villager instructs the dogs named Big Huang and Little Huang to hurry and find the snake pit. An old villager complains the people from Snake Catcher sect are arrogant. A fellow villager scolds the old man, since those people have real skills unlike them. The old man named Li wants to make sure they're benefiting from the trip. The man agrees. He's delighted to share about his child Xiao, who loves reading books. Back then, the child cherished a book someone else discarded as if it was treasure. That's why, once they receive the coins, the man plans to bring his child to Teacher Chu's place to study. He knows his child would be so happy, and just imagining it makes him really happy. The dogs bark loudly. It's a signal they found what they're searching for. They report to Taoist to inspect the hole, since it's most likely the old black snake's nest. Taoist immediately tells them to get away so he can look. When Snakey hears that, he curses. Snake catchers brought people with them into the mountain, and the dog's noses are really good since they found him. Snakey's body is stiff and cold. He's at his most vulnerable state. He can't escape, let alone fight. The villager informs Taoist the old black snake's feces is in the area too. They start bringing up the reward, but Taoist calls them idiots and tells them it's bear feces. They ask if the dog really doesn't know how to find snakes. The villager reasons it's impossible since his dog has never made mistakes looking for snakes. Taoist is triggered that the man is acting like he knows better. Taoist points to a big hole and instructs the man to bring all the villagers inside that hole to look for the snake. The villager hesitantly agrees. Snakey finally releases the breath he's holding. He was scared to death, but he's grateful for being smart and cautious. He blocked the entrance with stones and branches, and he placed bear feces on the branches. He even dug a 20-meter deep hole. He anticipated those men wouldn't be able to differentiate it. Although he might be scaring himself, he knows he should concentrate his energy and restore his body just in case. A man from the snake catcher sect calls senior brother Ding and tells him the hole is obviously a snake pit. Ding replies it certainly is a snake pit, and since they reached their goal, those villagers have no more use. The less of them survive, the less money they'd give out. So it turns out Ding intentionally made those men search for the bear's hole. Ding tells the man he should know what to do next. The man assures Ding he'll lure the demon bear out. They'll use the bear to kill the villagers first, then kill the demon bear together. Then, they'll hunt the frozen demon snake. Snakey hears that and comments, not even animals do that, killing their own companions. But he reasons that's how a human heart is. Human hearts are really scary. He shifts attention to what's more important, which is those. Men know he's there, and that puts him in great danger. Since those men plan to fight the demon bear first, Snakey thinks of taking the chance and going out to devour the demon bear. Then he might break through third level in one go and deal with those snake catchers. Snakey smacks his head for dreaming crazily when he's already in danger. He knows those men will deal with the bear first, so they're not in a rush to kill him. Moreover, there's no way he can devour the demon bear in front of those snake catchers. That would be seeking death. The senior snake catcher thinks how much of an idiot his junior is. Unfortunately for the junior, the two beasts are only enough for one of them to break through. Otherwise, he would have been able to spare his junior after defeating the demon bear. Snakey hears that and is surprised they're having internal conflict. It's a chance to change his situation. Snakey plans to slowly walk toward the hole's entrance, observe calmly, and act when opportunity arises. The junior informs Ding he's done with the arrangement, and in less than 30 minutes, the bear will wake up. A loud scream comes from the cave. It's followed by a loud roar as the bear charges forward. The humans scramble, running away from the bear. They complain since Taoist told them it's a snake pit. Then they see two Taoists on top of the cliff.
They thought they're there to help, but Taoist calls them trash and scolds them for causing trouble and having the nerve to ask for help. He tells them to just die. The villagers are furious. They finally realize they were directed to the bear's cave to be killed so Taoist could save money. The old man shoots an arrow toward Taoist, making him step back. His pouch gets ripped. Snaky sees it. Good shot! His eyes are already peeking from the ground. A pill falls on the snowy ground. Snaky smells the human pill. He sneakily grabs it with his tail. This pill is also called the Chi replenishing pill. It's such a magical pill that Snaky drools, and his body feels revived just by smelling it. The junior complains to Ding his storage pouch spilled. He asks for help picking it up since the bear is coming. Ding scolds him for being careless, but deep inside, Ding picked it up for himself. The junior praises Ding for a well-thought plan that ended up killing all that trash. They didn't expect those men to survive. Ding reasons it's an honor for those men to sacrifice their life for the snake catcher sect. The junior tells Ding he should accompany those people too. He starts casting a spell. Ding is taken aback. He's blown away toward the cliff and falls down to where the bear is. The bear looms over him. Ding curses at the junior named Xiao Wenzhou for tricking him. Wenzhou even teases him not to get angry since it'll be bad for his body, otherwise he won't have a peaceful death. Then the junior reveals he's been preparing for that event for a long time. He knew Ding wanted to pocket the demonic beast for himself, and he tells Ding he can have it all since he doesn't want any demon snake or bear. He just wants Ding dead. Then he teases Ding to take the breakthrough material in front of him. Ding uses a bombing talisman. It explodes on the bear. Wenzhou tells Ding his story before he died is insane. He's about to leave since it's time to return to the sect, especially when the bear is completely enraged. He doesn't want to get involved. Snaky listens to all of that. He takes it as his legendary turning point. Snaky swallows the pill and makes his way out of the pit. It's time for him to go out. Once out, he sees there are still 2 Chi replenishing pills at the entrance. He's curious if he'll be able to absorb them properly if he eats them all at once. He decides to hide one behind his teeth and wait for the right moment to swallow it. A pack of wolves appears. They're drawn by the smell of blood. It's perfect timing for Snaky, since he got hungry after eating the Chi replenishing pill, and he doesn't want to feast on human corpses, so he decides to fill his stomach with wolves instead. The wolves growl loudly. Ever since Snaky got the divine demonic cauldron, he can digest food almost instantly. He ate one wolf, but he wants more. The wolves attack him, and he fights back to eat them since a single wolf isn't nearly enough to fill his tummy. He notices how starved he is. Even after devouring several wolves, he's still so hungry. He thinks it's because of the great demon bear that makes him unsatisfied with just wolves. A wolf slowly approaches the bear. Instantly, the bear smashes it with its large paw. Snaky didn't expect the demon bear to still be so powerful despite its injuries. From what he saw in its fight with the snake catchers, the bear is at least peak 3rd level, while Snaky is only peak 2nd level. His stomach is growling and he's salivating. But his logical mind says he shouldn't lose himself to hunger and risk everything just for a meal. He's so hungry it makes him think it's caused by the cauldron's desire, like it's telling him to eat the demon bear. He justifies the bear's cultivation is higher than his, but the bear was badly injured. He thinks he won't get stronger if he keeps running away. And now it looks like the bear used all its strength when it blew the wolves away. Snaky knows as long as he's smart and cautious enough, he still has a good chance of winning. He charges in, taking the opportunity to get stronger. He makes the bear's eyes bleed using his tail. The bear growls loudly. Snaky didn't get away unscathed. His body is hurting as he realizes the bear is 10 times stronger than the demon eel. But since he managed to blind it, things should be easier now. Just a little more push. He can also feel the pill's effect starting to wear off. His body is getting stiff again. He anticipates recovering after digesting another pill. He has minor injuries too, but he knows they'll heal after he kills the bear. He bites the bear on the throat. It crashes on the ground. Despite being blind, the bear is still strong. Snaky complains how its attacks are heavy and painful. He can feel his bones breaking, but he knows not to let go of its throat until he snaps its neck. The bear growls loudly while attempting to remove the snake from its neck. But Snaky is determined not to let go. Snaky gets thrown on the ground. The bear lays on its stomach, growling from pain. Since Snaky tore its throat open, the bear doesn't have much time to live. Snaky decides to finish it off from a distance. He wraps his tail on a branch and throws it on the bear's head, causing it to bleed profusely. He expects it to be dead by that time, but just in case it's pretending, he decides to channel energy to heal while he watches. But Snaky hears a noise. The wolves are back. He screams at the wolves, saying the bear is his and they can't take it. That forces Snaky to eat the last chi replenishing pill to kill them all. 2 hours later, the wolves are all dead. Snaky emerges victorious, but his injuries increased. He looks worn out. He knows the chi replenishing pill's effect won't last long, and he's still injured. He needs to find a safe place to hide and recover before cultivating. Snaky tears up cloth just in case the snake catchers come again. He wraps it in his tail and drags the meat while he goes through the corpses surrounding him. It makes him wonder how many times it takes to reincarnate as a human. And to think, those humans just end up dead like that. Snaky notices something. It's the corpse of the man, and his dogs are beside him. It's the father of the young boy. Snaky asks the dogs why they aren't running away when the man is already dead. If that continues, those dogs will freeze to death. When Snaky checks, the dogs' bodies are already stiff. They've already frozen to death. Seeing how those dogs stayed by their master's side even when the master is dead somehow makes Snaky's heart feel conflicted. Snaky knows in their world only the most cunning and deceitful survive. Snaky is determined to survive no matter what happens next. Inside a certain cave, there's a puddle outside the cavern, making it hard to notice. Snaky assumes the place will keep him safe. While he can still move, he decides to start cultivating with the demon bear. The bear is delicious. Now Snaky knows why the divine demonic cauldron was so restless. He feels a familiar sensation. He's done it. His tail looks nice with the golden spikes. Snaky celebrates his ascension to 3rd level spiritual awakening. He finally broke through. Not only that, he reached peak 3rd level and his tail has grown 10 golden spikes. Despite great risk, he received great reward. The fight was worth it. He imagines himself next spring as someone who occupies a mountain and becomes king. 3 months later, winter ends and spring arrives. Snaky wakes from slumber. His length now is 8 feet and his golden scales increase to 11. In those past few months, not only did his length increase, his divine consciousness expanded as well. He senses 2 boars nearby and decides to hunt them for his meal and exercise. He attacks one boar. He sees it's a female and she's pregnant. He decides to eat the male instead. In the past few months, Snaky gained amazing new knowledge. It's called ecological balance. Since he can't go into the village anymore, he needs to figure out how to be self-sufficient by relying on the mountain. It's not enough to occupy the mountain and become king. If he wants endless prey, he knows not to kill the young ones. Snaky has knowledge the mountain has 25 roe deer, 20 wild boars, a few hundred rabbits, and water deer. There's a lot more animals totaling over 1,000. Snaky is aware that as long as he doesn't overeat and plans his diet properly, filling his stomach won't be an issue. But it's not enough for cultivation. From what he's seen in previous situations, cultivation needs to be accompanied by opportunities and adventures. Snaky decides it's time to return to his hometown. In a certain forest, there are lots of black snakes of different ages. It's the myriad Snake Valley. With spring's arrival, all things are coming back to life, and mating season has begun. But Snaky argues he's a strong-willed snake. A snake wraps its body around Snaky, making him blush. Every time he came back there before, that little white snake would always come looking for him. Unfortunately, he's a cultivator, and she's just a normal snake. Snaky pushes her away. Our boy has the Giga Chad anti-horny cell in his body now. If it was him 1 year ago, he would have also shamelessly and brazenly spread his seed around like the other snakes. But ever since he awakened his intelligence, he lost interest in such lowly desires. The reason he came there is to cultivate. He sees what he came for, the snake fruit. It ripens every 3 years, and that spring it's expected to ripen again. Since it's especially effective for snakes, eating the ripe fruit will strengthen his cultivation. The reason he gained the ability to sense spiritual energy 3 years ago was that he accidentally swallowed a snake fruit. If he swallows 3 fruits this time, he wonders if it'll help him break through into 4th stage. Once he reaches middle stages of spiritual awareness realm, he'll be able to use spells and won't have to rely solely on his body. Snakey senses some humans. One spoke towards so-called Sister Song to tell her they're in the myriad snake valley that senior brother Ding and him found, and the snake fruit is just inside. The voice sounds familiar to Snakey. The man dramatically expresses how sad he is about senior brother Ding. Song tells him to leave the past in the past. She tells him he's done well, as he was able to redeem himself. Snakey realizes it's those snake catcher bastards again. The man says he'll let senior sister Song have all the snake fruits. Song replies she won't take advantage, and just 2 snake fruits is enough for her. Wenjo reminds Song to be careful since it's a valuable treasure. They can expect a demonic beast guarding it. Song replies there's nothing to worry about since she already borrowed an amazing weapon from her master. She tells Wenjo the only demon snake around is the old Snake King, and if it dares show itself, she threatens she'll refine its gallbladder into a pill. Snakey gets triggered hearing those snake catchers are after the snake fruit, and they brought a weapon to deal with him. He contemplates if he should run, but the snake fruit is almost ripe. Running away would only make things easier for those snake catchers. Being at peak 3rd stage spiritual awareness realm makes Snakey confident, and also those snake catchers might not be as strong as he thinks, especially when the demon eel and demon bear killed them before. Suddenly, Snakey senses an awful smell. He dips into the water to hide and watch for the time being. Takes into consideration those humans might also have internal conflicts and end up fighting among themselves. Several snakes end up dead or running away as those snake catchers make their way around. Wenjo asks what they'll do if the old Snake King wouldn't appear. Song replies that if it doesn't come out, she'll just pluck the fruits, but she's confident it will show up. The old Snake King has lived for more than a decade. Its life is nearing the end. It needs those fruits to extend its lifespan. In his head, Snakey replies those snake catchers are the ones whose life is ending. Snakey is triggered by this woman's spouting nonsense, but Snakey remembers the villagers also called him Old Black Snake. He doesn't know why. It's not the best time to think about that since those snake catchers are about to pluck the fruit. Song tells Wenjo not to go in yet since the old snake is coming out. Wenjo asks where. Snakey gets nervous the woman noticed him. The ground cracks, followed by an explosion. Song tells Wenjo to watch behind, and just as Song expected, the old black snake comes out. It's a large snake. It looks just like our MC. Snakey is dumbfounded. He realizes it's the real old Snake King, and Snakey himself could just be a fake. It could also be the old Snake King used to stir up trouble and left behind a bad reputation. Then it got too old to go out, and Snakey just happened to start going out 3 years ago and took the blame. Song uses a swamp spell. The old king snake's mouth is wide open, but Song covered it with mud. Snakey realizes the snake catcher is strong. Even though the old Snake King is old, it's still managing to counter the attacks. Song uses a soul-suppressing bell. It's another treasure. She casts for it to shake all directions. Snakey complains about the sound. It's like it's tearing him apart. The old Snake King, too, is restless. Song throws ethereal shadow darts. It hits the old Snake King's head, making it hiss loudly. Song says it has sturdy scales. If they're peeled down, she bets it could be made into precious armor. Wenjo praises her and decides to assist. Wenjo is told to use his Windblade talisman for wide-scale attack. Wenjo agrees, and they plan to wear out the snake that way. Eventually, they notice the old black snake won't hold on much longer. Snakey realizes because of the human's treasure, the woman is much stronger than previous snake catchers he encountered. The old king snake is in a terrible situation. He contemplates if he should help him or just run away after devouring the fruit. But the snake fruit isn't ripe yet, so it might not work if he eats it now. Eventually, Snakey decides to secretly help the old Snake King. But then, Snakey senses movement from the snake fruit tree. He asks who's there. It's a villager. He's pleased to have gathered the fruit while the others were fighting. Thanks to the snake catchers distracting the old Snake King, he can claim the fruit all to himself. That angers Snakey. He goes straight charging at the man. He's mad this guy suddenly appeared, digging out the tree and destroying its root. He vows to rip the man into shreds. Because he's surprised, the man accidentally plucks the tree. Snakey gobbles up the villager while scolding him. Eventually, he realizes he swallowed the tree together with the man. He feels pain in his stomach as the leaves are getting digested. It's uncomfortable. He feels his stomach getting bloated like it's going to explode. Later on, he vomits it out. Then he notices the divine demonic cauldron is full. He reached peak 3rd-level spiritual awareness realm. He's relieved he wasn't poisoned. It was just way too powerful for him to handle. He ate so many leaves of the tree. He wonders if the berserk power he experienced just now was because of the leaves. The herb gatherer digested the moment he got devoured, but it took a moment for the divine demonic cauldron to cultivate the leaf's energy. Snakey moves fast. He can't let the snake fruit tree fall into others' hands. He pushes the tree with him. Later on, we see the old Snake King's body shredded into pieces. Wenjo praises Song for defeating the old Snake King in just 30 minutes. Song is confident she could do it. Then she replies Wenjo's performance was mediocre. It's time to harvest the fruit. But when they reach the tree, it's just an empty lot. They're so confused as to where the tree is. Song asks who did that. She suspects Wenjo. Wenjo tells her if she wanted the tree for herself, she could have just said so and not do something underhanded behind his back. That makes her furious. She asks what he's instigating. Wenjo replies it's exactly what she heard. She tells him he's feeling guilty and trying to shift blame on her. Wenjo continues saying she should call her accomplice who stole the tree. Wenjo promises he won't tell the master when they return to the sect. Song argues she doesn't have any accomplice. She suggests someone else must have taken the tree. Wenjo doesn't believe her. In Snakey's head, it's a perfect scenario, since they both think the other stole it. He cheers for them to fight. Wenjo takes out the teleportation jade token, a green round crystal, and suggests they call their master to settle the issue. Song challenges him to do it. Suddenly, someone grabs Wenjo's hand and tells them to stop. Wenjo is surprised to see their eldest brother, Senior. The man tells Wenjo the master knew about their movements and sent him secretly to watch over him. He just arrived and saw the two fighting among themselves. He expresses how disappointing it is. Wenjo asks eldest brother if he's the culprit. The man replies it wasn't him and that someone else took it. He comments it was a clever move to use a mortal to dig up the tree then escape. Otherwise, he would have sensed it through spiritual energy and tracked down immediately. They're left with one option: trace the culprit by following footprints. The man sees the footprints, vanish there. Wenjo asks what they should do now. The man assures him as long as that person is alive, he'll be able to track him. Wenjo has no doubt since the man is at 6th level Chi replenishment realm. He'll definitely catch the thief. Snakey trembles hearing that. Since he's not a match, he thinks the hole dug is deep enough, and all he can do is temporarily shut off his divine consciousness. He assumes even someone at peak Chi refinement realm won't be able to find him. Snakey smells something. It's such bad timing. The fruit is ripening. Eldest brother immediately senses that. He informs them it's coming from underground. He uses earth traversal technique to dive into the earth. Snakey knows the man is coming. All middle-stage cultivators know how to use spells, and the spell is the earth escape technique of the 5 elements technique. Snakey hurriedly swallows the fruit before deciding to run. He prays for the divine cauldron to digest it fast. He wishes for it to refine it quickly. The man finally arrives. He comments the thief is quite the runner, and the traversal technique isn't bad. He wonders what the cultivation level is. The man eats a pill and digs in the soil while announcing he'll kill every single one of them. He's furious the thief dared to steal from the snake catchers. The man runs at the speed of lightning. Snakey feels him coming closer. He tells the divine demonic cauldron to stop slacking and refine it ASAP, otherwise they're both finished. The mouth of the divine demonic cauldron gets wider. Snaky is surprised it understood what he's saying. Snaky feels the golden energy rapidly spreading throughout his entire body. His venomous fangs are growing, his muscles are expanding, and new golden scales are forming. He can feel a brand new version of him. The man arrives while Snaky is breaking through 4th-level spiritual awareness. The man is taken aback that what he chased for half a day is not a cultivator, but a snake. Snaky looks at him with grumpy eyes. It's hilarious. The man notices the snake just broke through middle stage's spiritual awareness realm. It hasn't fought him yet, but is already taking the tree and fleeing. He observes this kind of intelligence even most great demons in Foundation establishment don't possess. He knows the demon can't be killed. He decides to catch it alive and bring it back to the sect to investigate. It'll be a great achievement. Snaky finally broke through to 4th-level spiritual awareness realm. The golden scales on his tail have grown, and he feels bigger, stronger, and faster. He knows he'll be able to escape, but to his surprise, the man catches up to him. Not only does the human know the spell, he also has treasure. The man uses his treasure, the beast taming ring. The treasure looks like a rope. Snaky knows if he gets caught, he's done. He tries deflecting it using his tail. But he's taken aback his golden scales can't destroy it. More so, he can't even swat it away. What? The spiritual treasure the man has is upper grade. He's confident a mid-stage or even late-stage spiritual awareness realm demonic beast would be forced to submit without a fight. Snaky is annoyed. He knows spiritual treasures are all controlled by divine consciousness. So he decides to wipe off the man's divine consciousness. But to his surprise, it resists his divine consciousness. So it looks like it's not going to work. In his head, the man thinks Snaky is naive. He infused his divine consciousness into the beast taming ring, making it indestructible. It can't be wiped off unless a Foundation establishment realm cultivator interferes. He assumes Snaky has no chance against him. But he's shocked. Snaky is gobbling up the treasure. In Snaky's logic, if he can't wipe it off with divine consciousness, then he'll just use brute force to imprison it with his body. It hurts Snaky, but thankfully he has thick skin. All he needs to do is endure it. Snaky expects the man to give up, once he knows he can't break free since controlling the treasure drains lots of true chi. The man is furious. Snaky devoured the treasure. It's funny how Snaky just runs away after that. The man yells for the beast taming ring to break through from inside. 1 hour later, the man uses earth traversal technique. He just realized how the wretched beast is incredibly cunning. It's made him run in circles for the past half hour. In addition, the terrain is too cramped. It keeps forcing him to use the earth traversal technique. He's aware his true chi is depleting rapidly. He needs to end it quickly. He tells the beast to stop running and give back his treasure. Snaky feels the treasure inside his stomach starting to calm down. He also notices the man is running out of true chi, but Snaky knows he can't just keep running. He needs to come up with a way to kill the man and end it once and for all. The best way for a demonic beast to handle human cultivators is by getting up close and fighting with his body. Even though the man is chasing him, the attacks are from over 10 meters away. That can only mean the man feels safe at that distance. Snaky decides to slow down just a bit, lure him in, and while he's distracted, paralyze him. The man sees the beast slowing down and thinks it's reaching its limit. He plans to cut the beast's stomach first, since it swallowed the beast taming ring. His plan is to retrieve the ring and bring him to the sect alive. The man uses celestial wind blades. It's the moment Snaky's been waiting for. He rolls into a ball. The man is surprised his celestial wind blades, which kill all middle-stage demonic beasts, aren't even scratching the beast. It makes the man wonder what scales the beast has for being so tough. He summons his snake-slaying sword. He tells the beast his plan of capturing it alive, but now he has no choice but to be ruthless. He intimidates the snake, saying the treasure sword has slain countless snakes. Once drawn, it must be offered blood. He tells the snake it should feel honored to die by that sword. But then he notices he can't slash the snake. It's impossible. Snaky tells him the sword isn't worthy enough to pierce through his scales. Then he forcefully hits the man with his body. The sword is now broken. and the man used up all his true chi to block the attack. Yet he's still heavily injured. He realizes the snake might not be an ordinary demon snake. He suspects it's a dragon snake hatchling. The man doesn't want to die there, so he decides to escape by reaching the surface quickly, but he doubts if his remaining chi can handle the earth-traversing technique. He notices an opening above him. It feels like heaven is on his side. He uses wind-riding skill Rush. His goal is to report what happened to the sect fast, but he gets trapped in snakeskin. He remembers it from earlier when the beast broke through. He wonders if the beast intentionally shed the skin that time. He understands the beast might have planned it all in advance. The man screams loudly. Song tells Wenjo she just heard the eldest brother scream. Wenjo replies there's no way a puny beast can take on his eldest brother. Suddenly, the man uses an exploding talisman. The man warns Wenjo to run fast because there's a dragon hatchling down there. Song can't believe that. If that's the case, this beast is at least in nascent soul realm. Wenjo doubts if they'll survive. Wenjo points out to Song the elder brother's condition. It's evident they have to get out first. Wenjo suggests they go in a different direction from eldest brother. It's the only choice they have. Meanwhile, Snakey admits to himself how he got careless. He didn't expect the man to activate the explosion talisman even after losing one arm. Snakey knows if he lets this guy crawl away today, it's going to turn into an endless nightmare later. The man thinks he's about to escape clean because the beast is still more than half a yard away, so there's no way it can catch him in time. He's already cursing the snake in his head, planning how he'll run back to the sect and make this everybody's problem. Yeah, about that. Because another pair of eyes is already locked onto him. The old black snake is still on the ground, and it suddenly spits venom right onto the man. The dude drops and starts rolling around, screaming like his soul is getting deep fried. He genuinely cannot believe it. This snake is already decapitated, and it still managed to release venom. He immediately realizes he just made the dumbest mistake of his life. He scrambles for an antidote, and while he's taking it, he sees the demon snake closing in. At this point, the man has no choice. He pulls out his last resort, an upper-grade spiritual jade he was saving for cultivation, and activates it. He rockets away, fast enough to make the air feel like it's tearing. Snakey panics because, nope, that man cannot be allowed to live. So, Snakey makes the nastiest decision possible. He plucks a golden scale straight off his own tail with his mouth. It hurts like crazy, but he doesn't hesitate. He throws that scale like a killing dart, swearing he won't let this guy escape. The scale pierces through the man's back and bursts out his chest. The man starts begging. But the moment he turns his head, another spike shoots out and blasts his brains clean off. Snakey winces and complains that ripping out his own scales hurts so much. Like, bro, this is not the kind of power-up montage anyone asked for. He stares at the body, still suspicious. Because what if this guy is pretending to be dead again? Snakey's eyes go cold. He decides to make sure. So he starts wrecking the corpse first, basically turning it into something that absolutely cannot fake anything ever again. Then he pauses, feeling salty, because that scale was valuable. He wonders if it'll even grow back. And since he already went this far, Snakey opens his mouth wide and swallows the dead man, along with the scale. He's like, fine, we'll deal with the regrowth question after digestion, because right now, the priority is no survivors. Then Snakey notices the man's storage bag. Oh, he's taking that. He quickly scrubs away the man's divine consciousness imprint and replaces it with his own, claiming it like, congrats, you just got looted. While he's doing that, a voice suddenly hits him. Child. It's the old Snake King. The old Snake King tells Snakey to live well, and that's when Snakey's dusty memories from infancy start coming back in full color. 3 years ago, the last time the snake fruit ripened, it produced 2 huge fruits, and when that smell hit the air, the whole Myriad Snake Valley went insane. Snakes swarmed the tree, more than half the valley rushing in. Snakey wasn't intelligent back then. He was just like the rest, pure instinct, Pure hunger, pure chaos. Only 2 lucky snakes survived in the end, because it wasn't a snack run. It was a slaughter. Snakes fought, bit, strangled, brutal battle for 2 fruits. Then, suddenly, a deafening screech tore through everything. The old Snake King appeared. Its aura crushed the entire valley. Every snake froze and dropped, prostrating like their bodies remembered who the real ruler was. Snakey was trembling so hard he couldn't even move. And then the old Snake King handed him the fruit. Just gave it to him. That snake fruit became the beginning of everything Snakey is now. Snakey remembers staring at the old Snake King, not understanding. Because snakes, since ancient times, are selfish, ruthless, cold-blooded. Even among the same species, they kill each other. It's survival of the fittest. But the old Snake King's eyes had no coldness, only gentleness. A gentleness Snakey couldn't understand. Snakey asked why. No answer, just silence. And that silence sits on Snakey's chest like a rock. His head slowly grows heavy with sadness. Something indescribable builds up inside him and hardens into hatred. Snakey starts crying, and he vows eternal enmity with every snake catcher. He gathers rocks and piles them into a grave. He talks to the old Snake King, saying he copied the humans and made him a grave. He wishes the old Snake King will reincarnate as a human in the next life. Then Snakey breathes shakily and says he finally understands the old Snake King's last word. Anything with spiritual intelligence cares for its descendants. Snakey promises that when he's strong enough, he'll carry on the old Snake King's teachings. But right now, he can't. The snake catchers have already discovered Myriad Snake Valley, which means Snakey can't stay there anymore. He turns a corner, and he sees Song unconscious. Several snakes are creeping up on her. She looks like she only has a few breaths left. Snakey slithers closer, thinking if he swallows her, maybe his scale will regrow faster. But then his brain slams the brakes. Song escaped and ended up here. That could be bait. There might be a trap. There might be some kind of restraint on her. Snakey tells himself not to be greedy. Then he thinks about Wenjo. Last time, Wenjo tricked Ding on Iron Bear Mountain, and Snakey's been suspicious ever since. It's also possible Wenjo was the one who placed the old Snake King's head at the exit on purpose. But why? What does Wenjo even want? Snakey's still stuck in that thought when, behind him, a huge snake suddenly devours Song. Snakey is about to snap at it. But before he can finish the first word, the snake's head explodes. Instant. Boom. Snakey's eyes widen. Called it. Trap. That bastard Wenjo is absolutely a snake in human skin. Literally the type of guy who'd smile while lighting the fuse. Snakey hisses under his breath, trying to figure out what Wenjo is aiming for, because this is not random chaos. This is a plan. And yeah, that explosion was absolutely not an accident. Because right after that trap pops off and the snake's head detonates, it becomes painfully obvious. Wenju isn't just lucky. This man is plotting like his life depends on it. Because it does. Wenju goes straight to a graveyard. He stands there, staring at the graves, and coldly narrates that the bomb already triggered, and Song is dead. Then he speaks to the graves of his dad, his mom, and his little sister, swearing he'll avenge them no matter what. He says Liu Tong, Chenu, Dingai, Xiu, Mu Yun, all of them have already been sent down to the afterlife to keep his family company. Now there are only 2 targets left. He vows that Chen Daoying and every single one of his disciples, none of them are getting spared. Then he tells his dead family he'll come back another day. Outside Myriad Snake Valley, Wenju grabs a snake. There's a man nearby, and Wenju rushes the snake, like, "Hurry up, bite faster!" because Chen Daoying is going to arrive soon. And then Wenju lets the snake bite him right on the shoulder. Now, all he has to do is wait, and use himself as bait, pulling the valley snakes to swarm him. He collapses onto the ground, putting on the most pitiful voice he can manage, begging his master to save him. Half an hour later, someone reports to Chen Daoying that they can't find any trace of the senior brother, and the senior sister's presence has completely vanished too. The junior brother is the only one still alive. Chen Daoying immediately gives Wenju an antidote, telling him to circulate his energy and heal the wound, and after a few months of rest, he'll be totally fine. Wenju keeps acting weak and regretful in front of his master. Chen Daoying is furious, demanding to know what kind of demon has the nerve to kill two of his disciples. Back on Iron Bear Mountain, Snakey finally returns to his own turf. He assumes the snake catchers are still busy over at Myriad Snake Valley, which means his cave should be safe for now. He replants the snake fruit tree, and it actually starts thriving again since the environment matches where it grew before. Snakey quietly wishes the tree will recover its vitality. Then he checks the storage bag he stole. It's packed with food and pills, enough to last long enough for him to cultivate and regrow his golden scales. And he remembers the beast taming ring too. He stares at it like, oh yeah, underlings exist. He digs through the loot again and finds a book, an encyclopedia of snakes. He scans it and finally learns what he is, a black yin snake. Then he reads something that makes his blood go cold. A snake like him was once slain by an ancestor and refined into a pill. So even if a great demon snake reaches Foundation establishment and can spit fire, humans can still kill it. Snakey locks in immediately. The most important thing now is simple. Get stronger. Even better if he can learn techniques instead of relying only on his body. That's when he notices a jade slip. It's crystal clear, totally unusual, and Snakey's like, wait, is this actually useful? He looks into it and nearly loses his mind. There are spells listed by human cultivators, with detailed steps explaining exactly how to learn them. And Snakey isn't a normal demonic beast. His intelligence is on par with humans now. So yeah, he can learn this. 1 month later, Snakey pulls off Earth Traversal Technique. After a month of grinding, his Earth Traversal speed becomes way faster than Mu Yun's ever was, and his golden scale has regrown too. When he uses Earth Traversal, his speed basically doubles while his tail tears through the soil like a drill. Ordinary snake catchers won't catch him anymore. Snakey pops up from underground because he's starving. Earth Traversal burns too much true chi for him right now, so he can only maintain it for about half an hour. But as a trump card, half an hour is more than enough. He spots a bird, flicks out a fireball, and the bird gets instantly roasted. Snakey chews proudly, thinking his control over the fireball spell is pretty solid. And the crazy part is, the Myriad Snake record says a black yin snake only develops demon fire after reaching Foundation establishment, but Snakey figured it out in a few days. While he's munching, a wolf shows up. Not surprising, because there have been footprints all over outside his cave. Snakey thinks it's just a lone wolf. Nope, it's the Wolf King, and it can use spells too. But Snakey isn't just some regular demon either. He uses a gravity technique and the beast taming ring at the same time, deciding this is the perfect moment to recruit a mountain patrol underling. The wolf roars, and the beast taming ring slams it down. Snakey orders it to lie down. It lies down. Snakey says, "Come here." Even if the wolf hates it, the ring forces the body to obey. Snakey starts playing with it like it's a toy, asking for its paw, ordering it to wag its tail. He keeps stacking commands, and the wolf keeps obeying. Snakey even makes it play dead. He grins like a villain, thinking this beast taming ring is way too entertaining. Then he hops onto the wolf's back and orders it to patrol the mountain. Snakey's been watching his ecosystem carefully. The boar population has increased. The roe deer and water deer numbers are up. Goats stayed about the same. Snakey figures wolves probably hunted the goats. Then he notices rabbits increased by a few hundred. Not bad at all. His self-sufficiency plan is working. Then Snakey smells something familiar, and he finds the white snake from Myriad Snake Valley. It actually followed his scent, Now that he looks closely, it seems like she's also a black yin snake, just with a mutated color. She hasn't become a full demon beast yet. No intelligence, no speech. And judging by her size, she's probably Snakey's junior. The white snake rubs against him, and Snakey, of all creatures, actually blushes. Since she's his junior and they seem tied together by fate, Snakey decides to look after her like a senior. He scolds her not to make a scene because they're literally out in the open. The wolf bares its fangs and growls at the white snake. Snakey immediately pats the white snake to calm her down and scolds the wolf for trying to scare her. He even tells the wolf to smile instead, then rethinks it like, yeah, no, don't do that. Snakey tells the wolf he'll remove the beast taming ring and let it go, but there are conditions. First, the wolf agrees to be his underling. The wolf must hunt every day and deliver the food straight to Snakey's cave. Second, the wolf patrols the mountain daily, and if it finds any human traces within a 10-kilometer radius, it reports back immediately. Snakey makes it clear. Fail the job, and Snakey kills him. The wolf nods. Snakey commands the beast taming ring to return. The wolf immediately starts licking Snakey like it's grateful. Snakey snaps at it to stop licking. Back inside the cave on Iron Bear Mountain, Snakey names the white snake Snowy and tells her this is her new home. He tells her he'll teach her basic cultivation techniques. From now on, she stays inside, cultivates next to the snake fruit tree, and with Snakey around, she won't go hungry. Snowy nods. Meanwhile, over in Myriad Snake Valley's southern peak, someone is using a compass. They complain it's unfortunate Wenju could only provide a vague outline of the demonic beast. Otherwise, with the power of this treasure compass, they wouldn't need to search for so long. They bring up that the opponent was called a dragon hatchling. Chen Daowing immediately says that's impossible. If it were a real dragon, even Chen Daowing himself wouldn't stand a chance, much less his disciples. They never would have escaped. So Chen Daowing reasons it's either an awakened demon snake or maybe something possessed by a cultivator, giving it a bit of intelligence. He adds that the dragon hatchling rumor probably came from the demon wolf, since the wolf noticed those wolves carried the snake's scent. The demon wolf roars. A man calls the wolves idiots for not knowing their place. He uses a thunder seal, and electricity fries the wolves all at once. The demon wolf panics and flees. After seeing that kind of power, the Wolf King is desperate to warn Snakey. But there's a cliff ahead. The man throws thunder again, and it strikes the wolf's tail. Snakey senses that howl from far away. He instantly knows it's bad. Snake catchers are here. He tells Snowy to stay in the cave, guard the snake fruit tree, and do not come out. Then Snakey burrows underground and escapes as far as possible before they can pinpoint his cave. If there's going to be a fight, he refuses to let it happen at home. He expands his divine consciousness, trying to judge how strong these people are compared to Mu Yun. Then he detects another divine consciousness. The man's divine consciousness catches Snakey's and locks onto him. The man realizes it's exactly like his master said. The demon snake is at the 4th level of spiritual awareness, and his master warned him not to act recklessly. All he needs to do is stall for half an hour until Chen Daowing arrives. So he secretly sends a transmission. Then he watches Snakey run and notices Snakey doesn't look that fast. He remembers Wenju's warning. The demon is clever. It pretends to be weak, lures you into chasing, then counters. So the man stays cautious. And he decides, if acting weak is the demon's trick, then acting weak can be his trick too. He loudly claims there's no need for his master to step in. He says, with his 6th-level refinement cultivation, he can easily kill a 4th-level spiritual awareness demon snake. Snakey clocks it instantly. This man's cultivation is about the same as Mu Yun's was, but his speed is less than half. So he's pretending, and that statement also means Chen Daowing is arriving soon. Snakey can't gamble with that. He accelerates to full speed while watching the man's reaction. If the man dares to chase at full speed, then the man isn't bluffing. The man gets annoyed seeing Snaky speed up, then panics. He blasts the ground with thunder seals and explosions to disrupt Snaky's movement. Snaky notes the power is solid, around half the strength of his own fireball. Then the man uses earth traversal too. He refuses to let the demon beast escape. And he keeps yapping non-stop, trying to taunt Snaky into making a mistake. Just like Snaky expected, the man commits and chases at full speed. So Snaky suddenly changes direction. He's betting that. Soon the man's strength will drain, and he'll have no way out. The man is stunned when the demon snake turns around and charges straight at him. No time to dodge. Collision is inevitable. The beast comes right at him, and he throws out a thunder seal, trying to smash Snaky apart. But Snaky has a golden shield talisman in the pouch. The man can't believe it tanked the hit. He spots the storage bag and immediately knows what's coming next. An explosion. He moves fast, using the recoil of his own thunder seal to escape. But then Snaky's mouth opens wide, preparing black flames with the fireball technique. In the man's mind, he's begging his life jade to save him. But the life jade's coverage is slightly off. It can't wrap his whole body. Snaky releases a massive black flame. And even though black flame is something a snake should only be able to produce after reaching foundation establishment, Snaky pulled it off by finding a fire element herb, an earth fire vine, that transformed his fireball. Snaky snatches the man's storage bag. The life jade protects most of the man's body, but his left arm doesn't make it. It gets cooked. Snaky is ready to finish him off. The man screams for his master to save him. And of course, Chun Daoing is already rushing toward the black flames, coming to save Muley. Snaky gets irritated because the timing is disgusting. Chun Daoing is difficult to handle, so Snaky immediately decides to retreat. Muley weakly calls out to his master. Chun Daoing throws him a golden essence pill and tells him to circulate his energy and heal while Chun Daoing pursues the demon beast. He orders Muley to meet up once he recovers. As Chun Daoing chases, he blames himself for getting Muley's arm taken. He vows to kill that damn snake and put its corpse on the altar as a sacrifice. Snaky feels Chun Daoing's divine consciousness range, speed, and hostility. This is at least perfected. Qi refinement. Meaning Chun Daoing is stronger than Snaky, and Snaky realizes Chun Daoing thinks he's dealing with a fool. Snaky runs like his life is on fire, because it is. Chun Daoing senses the snake is underground and finds it strange that the demon beast knows earth traversal. He can't understand how it got this intelligent. Then Snaky slams into something underground. It hurts. He realizes it's granite. Earth traversal is basically useless through it. Even if Snaky can break rock, doing it slows him down too much, and Chun Daoing is closing in. Snaky has no choice. He bursts upward. On the surface, he sees a cliff, and his eyes sharpen. He can use this. Chun Daoing chases at full speed, and suddenly boulders rain down on him. Chun Daoing activates golden body protection to shield himself. Snaky switches plans. If he can't crush Chun Daoing to death, he'll bury him alive. He starts dropping exploding talismans, blast after blast, for half. An hour straight, explosions don't stop. Chun Daoing curses from under the rocks. Snaky thinks that's enough to trap him. But Chun Daoing never respected those rocks. And then he realizes something horrifying. They won't budge. Even earth traversal isn't working. He finally understands the demon beast intentionally trapped him. He mutters that he never thought he'd have to use his ancestors' treasured gift in a moment like this. He swallows a pill and chants, "Great Tao, guide me. Breakthrough." It's a divine berserk pill left by his ancestor, costing 20 years of lifespan. It temporarily pushes him into Foundation Establishment realm. And it works. Chun Daoing breaks through into the first level of Foundation Establishment. He's furious that a mere beast forced him to burn 20 years of life. He gathers the demon beast's demonic energy signature. Now, Snaky can't hide from him. Chen Daowing uses wind riding skill and swears he'll rip off the beast's skin, pull out its tendons, and crush its bones. He goes berserk. Snaky senses it immediately. Chen Daowing escaped. The killing intent is heavier. The speed is terrifying. Snaky guesses Chen Daowing reached Foundation establishment. Near the river, Chen Daowing catches up. He uses gravity technique and yanks Snaky upward like Snaky weighs nothing. Snaky didn't expect gravity to be this brutal in the hands of a Foundation establishment cultivator. Chen Daowing challenges Snaky to break free. Then he starts lecturing Snaky about painful deaths and paying for killing disciples. Snaky is internally furious at this hypocritical old man, because the snake catchers were the ones who stole the snake fruit first. Snaky knows this is hopeless if he just sits there, so he throws a golden scale like a hidden weapon. Chen Daowing is surprised the demon beast even knows how to do that. He mocks Snaky for struggling when it's already the end, but he gets caught off guard. The gravity technique wavers. He barely dodges the spike. Now, Chen Daowing is confused and curious because that weapon almost pierced through his protection. Snaky dives into the river and uses water traversal to escape. Since Chen Daowing is Foundation establishment now, his water traversal should be superior. So, Snaky decides the only way out is hiding. He frantically searches for somewhere safe. And then, he remembers it. The Mountain God Temple. That place is his sanctuary. And in his heart, he trusts the Mountain God will protect him. Night falls. Chen Daowing follows him there, but stays cautious. A demon beast this cunning choosing a dead-end temple? It has to be a trap. Chen Daowing shouts for the beast to come out. Meanwhile, Snaky climbs onto the mountain god statue, praying to be saved. Even if the mountain god doesn't appear, stalling Chen Daowing might be enough for Snaky to restore his true chi. And if that fails, Snaky plans to rip off every golden scale he has and fight to the death. Chen Daowing loses patience. He decides to destroy the temple. Exploding talismans fly, and the temple gets bombed into rubble. Snaky is buried. Then the air turns wrong. Black mist gathers, forming a gigantic, ominous creature right in front of Chen Daowing. It calls Chen Daowing an audacious fool for defiling its statue and provoking its wrath. Chen Daowing turns pale and freezes. The creature speaks again, like it thinks Chen Daowing didn't hear. Chen Daowing recognizes it. The legendary old monster's primordial spirit. And he knows one thing. He has to run. Right then, Mule arrives to help. Chen Daowing says Mule came at the perfect time. He uses gravity technique, then throws Mule straight toward the creature. Mule screams, "Why?" Chen Daowing coldly tells him to block it. The black creature calls them fools, saying fools die because they lack sense. Chen Daowing activates a divine moving talisman and flees immediately because he knows he's no match. He wonders how there can be such a terrifying expert in these remote mountains. Then his chest tightens. A threat strikes him from afar. If he dares show his face again before the black creature, his soul will be annihilated. No reincarnation. Chen Daowing is shocked the creature can injure him from that far. He thinks the snake got lucky, and he vows he'll return for it. The black mist creature enters Mule's corpse. Snaky finally crawls out of the rubble and sees the young man is dead and the old man fled. That gamble was insane, but it paid off. The mountain god really has a spirit. Then Snaky sees Mule stand up. For a split second, Snaky thinks, this guy is faking death too? But Mule moves like a zombie and turns towards Snaky. Snaky doesn't hesitate. He burns Mule into ashes. Then Snaky clears rubble off the broken statue, lights incense, and thanks the mountain god for saving him.
He promises he'll worship him every year. The black mist creature suddenly appears right in Snaky's face and complains that Snaky is spouting nonsense. Snaky nearly jumps out of his scales and asks if the mountain god doesn't want worship. The creature pokes Snaky's head and, in a disgustingly condescending tone, asks if Snaky is trying to make its primordial spirit disappear with offerings. It's annoyed because Snaky ruined its plans. Then it gives Snaky an order: find it a body within 30 minutes. If Snaky fails, it'll curse Snaky so he'll never reincarnate. Snaky turns pale, because honestly, getting killed sounds better than never reincarnating. Snaky's whole body goes ice cold, because never reincarnate isn't a threat. That's a spiritual death sentence. The black mist creature snaps at him to hurry up, and then it gets picky too, like this is some royal shopping list. It says not just anybody will do. It wants someone young, strong, and preferably a cultivator. Snaky swallows hard and promises he'll find a body that'll make the mountain god happy. Then he bolts. Behind him, the creature mutters that it really hopes this wretched snake doesn't take too long. Its primordial spirit is dissipating fast. If it can't possess a body soon, it's going to disperse completely. Right then, a mouse creeps up to Mule's burned remains, and the black mist creature instantly possesses the rat. Now it's this tiny, little mouse, acting high and mighty, looking grumpy, like it's offended that reality even exists. It fumes, calling itself the wandering heavenly demon, and complains that it has lived for centuries, yet it's never met anything as troublesome as this snake. It straight up regrets ever enlightening that creature. Then the wandering heavenly demon starts laying out his history. A few hundred years ago, he was hunted by a great sect and was reduced to nothing but a primordial spirit. He barely escaped into the mountain god statue, sealed himself inside, and survived by feeding on faith power. He stayed there, accumulating divine power. And not long ago, he finally reached a point where he could possess living beings again. Then, perfect timing, he sensed a human-shaped pill and a cultivator show up. That should have been his golden chance to steal a body. But the wretched snake devoured both of them and ruined everything. Worse, the snake also absorbed a bit of his primordial spirit power, which is exactly why it gained intelligence in the first place. Later, people from the Chi family came, and the demon tried to possess someone again. And once again, the damned snake interfered. Then to add insult to injury, a corpse carrying a bit of his spirit got eaten by a stray dog. And that dog gained intelligence too. So when the demon saw Snaky return, he knew he had to be cautious. But then that old cultivator showed up and blew up his statue. And right when the demon finally found a suitable body, that absolute fool snake burned it to ashes. Now the rat-bodied demon is trembling with rage. He vows he's going to make Snaky suffer for this. He's going to make the snake wait. And when the demon finally gets a new body, Snaky is going to pay for every second of this humiliation. The demon actually starts looking forward to what Snaky will bring back, hoping the snake drags in a few strong people from the village so he can pick and choose. Meanwhile, Snaky is out here panic searching like his soul is on a countdown timer. He cracks open a tomb and immediately groans because it's just skeletons. Useless. He knows if he doesn't hurry, he's getting cursed for real. Then Snaky senses movement nearby. At first, he thinks someone's burying a corpse. But nope, it's a dog, digging. And then Snaky realizes the dog is eating corpses. Snaky just freezes for a second like, what kind of psycho buffet is this? The aura coming off what the dog is eating feels sinister as hell. Then the coffin pops open, and the dog's eyes light up, because the corpse inside is perfect. Young, handsome, strong physique. The dog is basically drooling like it just found premium meat. Then it senses Snakey nearby and immediately assumes the snake is here to steal the meal. The dog thinks the snake must be going insane from hunger. But then the dog gets this creepy feeling, because the snake isn't staring at the corpse, it's staring at the dog. The dog's whole body tenses. It realizes it's the target. And it panics. It bolts, screaming for help, yelling that the demon snake is after it. Snakey chases without hesitation, and he's genuinely shocked. This dog has intelligence. It's strong. It's good-looking. And it talks. Snakey's brain instantly clicks. There is no better vessel than this. So Snakey whips out the beast taming ring. The rope-like ring snaps forward and wraps around the dog's head. The dog barks like crazy, ordering the snake to release it, or it'll eat the snake alive. Snakey can feel that malicious intent pouring off the dog, and he immediately concludes it's because the dog has eaten too many corpses. Snakey gets pissed, yells for the dog to stop barking, and orders it to follow him. The dog starts begging. Snakey doesn't care. Instead, Snakey starts gaslighting with full confidence, telling the dog it should feel honored because the mountain god wants to meet it. Back at the temple, the wandering heavenly demon is getting anxious. Time is almost up. The mouse body won't last much longer. He needs a new body now. And then Snakey bursts in like he's delivering a prize. He proudly presents the dog, showing off like, "Look, young, strong, intelligent, handsome. This is literally the whole checklist." Snakey asks what the wandering heavenly demon thinks, because this is perfect. The demon's rat face twists. He tells Snakey to just die. Snakey stares like, "What did I do wrong? I followed your exact instructions." But the demon has no time left to be picky. He's cornered. And instead of possessing the dog, he suddenly decides to take Snakey's body instead. The wandering heavenly demon orders Snakey to give him his body. Snakey resists immediately. The demon tries to force his way in and gets thrown out. He's shocked. He tries again. They wrestle spiritually, back and forth, while the dog watches like, "Is this really the mountain god, or is this some scam?" The demon curses, saying this wretched snake is absurdly strong. And why is its spiritual consciousness so powerful? Every time he tries to possess it, he gets kicked out. Then the demon suddenly senses something else. The dog's aura. It feels familiar. He stares harder and realizes the dog is radiating something he recognizes. Then it clicks. That dog has the body of a fish demon. The demon's eyes widen because this body is exactly like what he had back in his prime. He digs through the dog's memories. He sees the dog eating sacrificial offerings, which is how it gained sentience. And even after becoming intelligent, it kept robbing graves and desecrating corpses, stacking up sin like it was collecting trophies. The wandering heavenly demon bursts out laughing. Snakey's like, what's so funny?" The demon says there was never any retribution in the memories he gave Snakey. Hell is just a comforting lie for weak ants who need something to cling to. He points at the black dog as proof. It robs graves. It desecrates corpses. It doesn't fear gods or devils. And that's exactly why it's the perfect inheritor of the wandering heavenly demon. Snakey, completely serious, asks what wandering means. And he assumes it's like a beast getting separated from its pack. Because if that's what it means, Snakey just swallows those whole. The demon has absolutely no response to that. Later, they head toward Iron Bear Mountain. Right before entering the cave, Snakey keeps shooting suspicious looks at the dog. The dog urges him to hurry up. Snakey gets annoyed and snaps that this is his territory. The dog just casually follows him in anyway. And the demon, using the dog's mouth, asks how the master wouldn't be allowed in his disciple's territory. Then the demon points out the puddle in front is connected to an underground cave and asks if this is the snake's nest. Snakey had subtly tested the dog's speed earlier. Couldn't shake it off. If anything, the dog looks like it's enjoying the chase. It even smiles and asks if Snakey is tired already.
Snaky finally admits to himself that the dog is ridiculously strong. And weirdly, with the demon in dog form, Snaky feels less hostile toward him. Like the threat feels different now. Snaky thinks maybe he can just offer this master something, instead of trying to get rid of him. Right then, the Wolf King shows up carrying a fat goat. Snaky is delighted. He praises the Wolf King for doing a good job. Perfect timing, too, because Snaky is starving. The dog starts yapping again about being the master. Snaky has zero respect for it. Snaky fires back. Wolves eat meat, but dogs eat poop. Then he tells the Wolf King to give the dog poop to eat. The dog loses it, lunges, and bites the Wolf King's butt, threatening to bite it to death. The Wolf King immediately gets traumatized and hides behind Snaky. The wandering heavenly demon snaps that it's been ages since anyone dared insult him like that. He asks Snaky if he understands the consequences of disrespecting him. Snaky says he's not being disrespectful, he's being accurate. He says that dog literally likes eating poop. The dog grabs him and demands to know if Snaky is admitting he's his disciple now. Snaky refuses. The demon complains that he showed Snaky grace, and Snaky even bowed before him before. Snaky argues that back then he was praying to the mountain god, not him. The dog insists that master is master, whether Snaky likes it or not. Snaky admits the dog has a point, then immediately says he was just teasing. Then he calls the whole thing crap and says he's not falling for it, and Snaky instantly uses water traversal to dip. The dog laughs and admits Snaky almost got him. He says it's been so many years since he laughed like that. He's enjoying having a fun snake around. Snaky dives under the water and reaches his nest. Snowy is standing beside the snake fruit tree, and she looks fiercer. Snaky's shocked she withstood everything while he was gone. She's starting to become a demon beast. She even learned a breathing technique. Snaky yells at the dog not to get too close. Snaky's holding the storage bag like it's treasure. The dog scoffs, saying it's all junk, and Snaky shouldn't act like it's priceless. He even says he wouldn't take it even if Snaky offered. Snaky checks the bag. There are pills, talismans, herbs, jade slips, basically identical to Mule's stash. The pill furnace looks decent too. Then Snaky sees a stone and wonders what it's for. The dog immediately perks up and tries to take it. Snaky blocks him. Turns out it's a spiritual stone. Snaky reminds him, "Didn't you just say you wouldn't take it even if I offered? And now you're stealing?" The dog scoffs and turns away, claiming he just wanted a closer look and he's not interested. Snaky can't be fooled. That tail is wagging. The dog wants it. Snaky flips through more stuff, miscellaneous notes on spiritual herbs, 45 essays on herbs, pill reference notes, and a jade slip all about refining pills. Snaky decides he'll study pill refining when he has time. Snowy wraps herself around the furnace, clearly liking it. Snaky can tell she's disappointed she can't use it yet because her cultivation is too low. Snowy hisses like, "Unfair!" In broad daylight, someone is causing a ruckus in the forest using gravity technique. It's Snaky. He remembers how that old man hit him from hundreds of meters away with gravity, so Snaky is training it like crazy. Then the Wolf King shows up again, this time with a boar in its mouth. Snaky is satisfied having a minion delivering food every day. He devours the boar and says it tastes way better than that goat from earlier. That goat had a weird odor. Then the dog appears again and tells his disciple that if Snaky keeps eating ordinary animals like this, it'll take forever to break through. Snaky is not happy the dog is back. The dog says even a real dog would turn its nose up at that kind of food. Snaky asks what he's supposed to eat then. The dog calls him an idiot. It's obvious. Eat demonic beast flesh and collect spiritual herbs. Snaky argues it's easier said than done when there are no demons nearby. He points out the only demonic beast around is the Wolf King, and eating that won't help much. Better to keep it alive for patrol and hunting. The dog says that's Snaky's problem, and if Snaky wants to live like a recluse, then don't expect gourmet meals. Then the dog shows Snaky something he found yesterday. A ring. And his lunch. It's a bird, a demonic beast at late-stage spiritual awareness. It's called the spiritual-tailed chicken, a spiritual fowl raised by a nearby sect specifically for eating. The dog casually says it tastes way better than wild boar, and he even happened to snatch two. Snaky's mood flips instantly from jealous to panicked. He uses Earth Traversal in a blink to appear right next to the dog and demands to know if anyone is following him. The dog tells him to relax. He's confident he covered his tracks perfectly. There's nobody in the world who can track him. Then the dog starts plucking feathers like he's hosting a cooking show. He talks about how tender and juicy the chicken is. Snaky's mouth starts watering immediately. The dog produces fire in his paw and roasts the chicken right there. Juice sizzles. Skin crisps. The smell punches Snaky in the soul. The dog keeps teasing, tempting him on purpose, then casually suggests a trade. If Snaky wants the chicken, exchange it for the spiritual stone. The dog even points out that the smell is so strong the little white snake woke up too. Snaky is drooling like crazy, fighting for his dignity, and he shouts, full pride, full stubborn, saying even if he starves to death, he will never eat the wandering heavenly demon's chicken. And the dog, being the absolute menace he is, immediately turns into a one-dog food commercial. He hypes the crunch. He hypes the oil dripping off the skin. He tells Snaky, "Wow, such integrity, respect. Just watch me enjoy it then." Then he takes a bite and narrates the whole experience like it's fine dining. Before anyone can blink, only bones are left. He tosses a bone at them like they're peasants and says they can have that. Snaky refuses, but him and the Wolf King are drooling like their souls are leaking out. The dog rubs the drumstick right in Snaky's face just to disrespect him. Snaky finally snaps and shoots a fireball out of pure anger. The dog tells him not to get mad and swears he won't trick him. Then he casually drops the bomb. If he sold a spiritual-tailed chicken, it would go for at least 3 spiritual stones. That means this trade is a crazy bargain. Snaky challenges him to go sell it then. Snaky is sure he won't fall for it because he's not an idiot. The dog says selling is inconvenient right now because he's in dog form. Then he tells Snaky if he wants proof, look behind him. And sure enough, the Wolf King breaks through into the 3rd level. Oh, spiritual awareness. Even Snowy breaks through into the 2nd level of spiritual awareness. They did that just from gnawing the bones. So the dog wasn't lying. That chicken is absurdly powerful. Snaky immediately agrees to trade. He devours the chicken. The smell is insane. His whole body warms up like someone poured molten energy into his veins. The divine demonic cauldron starts spinning. Spiritual energy floods the cauldron, and Snaky feels it. He's breaking through to the 5th level of spiritual awareness. Right after, he burps loudly like a satisfied monster. As expected from a late-stage spiritual awareness demonic beast, he broke through from refining just part of it. The remaining energy should last him several days of refining. Back in his nest, Snaky rests under the fruit tree and keeps refining. When he finally finishes, he doesn't just reach peak 5th level spiritual awareness. His golden scales increase too. Snaky grudgingly admits the dog didn't lie this time. That spiritual stone was worth it. The Wolf King, Snowy, and even the dog are still refining and cultivating. So, Snaky assumes the dog's cultivation must be advanced too. The dog asks if Snaky is done and what the chicken's effect was like. Snaky says it's not bad. The dog proposes they team up and catch more, then split the haul half and half. He guarantees Snaky can reach late-stage spiritual awareness in a month, and reach perfection spiritual awareness in a year. Snaky can't believe that and asks how that's even possible. The dog plays with the spiritual stone, winks, and tells him he doesn't lie. Snaky refuses to go. Late-stage spiritual awareness demonic beast prey is too dangerous. He tells the dog to go alone if he wants. Snaky also says it feels weird calling it a demonic beast when it's raised by humans. Those birds lost their battle power and are weaker than mid-stage demonic beasts. Snaky stays firm.
He nearly died. Stealing pigs before, he's not repeating that. The dog asks what kind of pig he ran into, then decides he'll go himself. And he threatens that if anyone chases him, he'll just lead them right back to Snaky. Snaky screams that he's never seen anyone so shameless. The dog pats him, claims following him is the safest path, and insists there's no way he'll lie. Snaky finally agrees, on one condition. The dog never calls him disciple again. Snaky emphasizes his name, Snaky. The dog praises him for naming himself, then immediately says the name sucks. Snaky says it's still better than wandering. The dog insists he's the mighty, majestic, wandering heavenly demon who shakes heaven. Snaky says you can tell he's useless just by hearing that name. The dog sighs, gives up explaining to a blockhead, and says it's not wise to publicize his true name before regaining power. So he'll use a temporary name. Since he's black, he calls himself Black Emperor. Snaky instantly starts bullying and calls him Black Little Bro. Same pronunciation, different meaning. The dog corrects him, Emperor. Snaky says if a dog is Emperor, then what does that make Snaky? He suggests calling him Big Black because his head is huge. The dog hates it because it sounds like a dog name. Snaky asks, "Aren't you a dog?" The dog refuses to argue anymore and changes it to Black Imperial. Snaky still calls him Black Yellow. Black Imperial asks Snaky if he even knows how many cultivation sects exist in the country. Snaky says he only knows Snake Catcher Sect. Snaky asks if there are other sects that catch snakes. Black Imperial says it's normal for a snake to only know the Snake Catcher Sect. Then he explains there are 5 great sects in the east, west, south, north, and center of the Chu country. North is Frost. West is Kun. East is Pengli. South is Snake Catcher. And the center is governed by the Imperial Heavenly Observatory. All small sects are under the jurisdiction of these 5. He says the Snake Catcher Sect used to be called the Falling Dragon Sect, but it declined. And because they fear having too much fame and attracting enemies, they changed their name. Snaky asks about the Carefree Sect they're going to now. What level is it? Black Imperial says Carefree is a mediocre small sect under Snake Catcher. It only has 5 Foundation Establishment cultivators. Snaky hears 5 Foundation Establishment and instantly tries to run away. The dog grabs his tail. Snaky refuses to go even if he dies, accusing Black Imperial of trying to kill him. Black Imperial tells him to stop being a baby and points at the cliff. Those birds up there are spiritual-tailed chickens raised by an old Foundation Establishment cultivator. Snaky immediately asks to be let go so he can look closer. Black Imperial laughs at how fast Snaky's attitude flips. Snaky is shocked. There are almost 100 chickens. He asks if they're really raising demonic beasts like that, and if they aren't scared, they'll run away. Black Imperial tells Snaky to try catching one. Snaky activates divine consciousness to test it, but the barrier bounces his consciousness back. Snaky yells the place is dangerous and they need to retreat. Black Imperial holds his tail and says there's no need to retreat. It's just a light barrier array. He gives Snaky a green pill-like item to use. Snaky asks what it is. Snaky sprinkles it, and part of the barrier dissolves. It's a ray-dissolving powder, specifically for breaking protective barriers. Then Black Imperial drops fat worms, the spiritual insects the spiritual-tailed chicken loves most. A chicken walks over. Then several gather. Black Imperial's plan: hide underground and wait for the chickens to come close. Snaky waits for the signal. Then, when Black Imperial gives the word, Snaky grabs as many as possible and they run. They prepare. Black Imperial signals. Snaky uses the beast-taming ring on a chicken trying to escape. Black Imperial catches one. 2. Then Black Imperial yells, "Retreat!" only to realize Snaky already ran. Snaky uses Earth Traversal and shouts for the dog to run too. But a floating man spots them. He says he was wondering why chickens disappeared 2 days ago. Now he knows who stole them.
This guy is Elder Joe Shu from Carefree Sect. Snaky panics because the man is coming. He urges Black Imperial to run quickly. Black Imperial says, "Calm down, this is a small matter." They split up. Black Imperial uses Earth Traversal. Shu sees it and wonders where a demon learned that. Shu chants a spell, turning the ground into stone, blocking Black Imperial from digging. So, Black Imperial switches tactics and sprints on the surface. Shu chases, noticing the dog's posture isn't ordinary. Black Imperial uses Maniac Wind technique and starts running on two legs. Shu is baffled and asks if he's a human or a dog. Snaky watches from afar and feels relieved he escaped first and isn't being chased. A real Foundation establishment cultivator is terrifying. Snaky wishes the old dog luck while he finds a secluded cave to refine. In that cave, Snaky decides to refine the chicken before going home to avoid complications. He pairs the chicken with pills he stole earlier. With this, he should break through to 6th level and reach peak. Higher risk, higher reward. Snaky tries roasting the chicken and burns it. He realizes the dog makes roasting look way easier than it is. Snaky mutters it's a shame the dog might not make it back. Then the dog appears behind him and yells, "Who says I'm dead?" Snaky is shocked he survived. The dog sits down with legs spread, scratching his groin, complaining he was forced to give up 3 spiritual-tailed chickens because of that old man. He curses that all his efforts were wasted. Snaky offers him chicken. Black Imperial is confused, asks what Snaky is doing. Snaky says if the dog hadn't distracted the enemy, Snaky wouldn't have gotten 3 chickens, and they promised to split half and half. So Snaky gives him 1.5. Black Imperial is pleased, saying Snaky is nothing like his disciple. Snaky blushes and argues again that he isn't his disciple. Black Imperial tells him to stop being stubborn and takes the one Snaky burnt. Snaky warns only half of it is edible. Black Imperial says it can be saved, and he'll teach Snaky. He borrows Snaky's tail like it's a kitchen knife, chops carrots, then throws chicken into boiling soup with it. While stirring, he explains chicken isn't only for roasting, it can be soup too. He scolds Snaky for using too big a fire and orders him to add water. Snaky obeys, amazed. Black Imperial tells him to throw the other chickens in too. They add more ingredients, making it even more nourishing. Snaky blushes, staring like he's watching wizardry, and says it smells good. Black Imperial scolds him for drooling into the pot. Snaky insists on calling him Black Yellow. Snaky asks if he can eat now. Black Yellow says yes. Snaky gobbles 2 chickens at once. He's loving it. Black Yellow tells him to eat slowly. Snaky burps, satisfied, thanks him for the food, then goes to refine. Black Yellow lets him. But inside, he's thinking Snaky is stupid, because Black Yellow already ate the 3 chickens he stole earlier. So, Snaky not only gave him extra chicken, Snaky even thanked him. Black Yellow finds Snaky innocent and cute. Snaky starts refining, aiming to break through to the 6th level of spiritual awareness. But the breakthrough fails. He tries again, fails again. He thinks maybe his foundation isn't solid enough because he broke through recently. Black Yellow calls him an idiot and says as his master, he'll help. He drags the pot over and yells, "Rise!" He condenses the leftover herbal residue and burns it, then condenses it into pills, and shoves it into Snaky's mouth. Snaky asks what it is. Black Yellow says it's an aperture-opening pill and orders him to break through again. Snaky complains it tastes burnt, but tries again. This time, it works. 10 days later, Snaky proudly says he reached peak 6th level. Black Yellow praises him for doing it in less than half a month. Snaky blushes and admits it was thanks to Black Yellow. But Snaky swears he's never stealing chickens there again. Black Yellow says he's not stupid either. They can't keep stealing the same place. They'll rotate. Snaky says there's no need to rush in 1 month. He wants to solidify his realm even if it takes a year. He explains human cultivation focuses on true chi, but demonic beasts focus on the body. He refuses to chase speed and end up hollow. Then, Snaky's eyes bulge. He asks what that is. Black-yellow. Answers like, it's obvious. The forest is on fire. Snaky panics and sprints. Black-yellow follows, asking if Snaky is seeking death running into fire. He says it's just a wildfire, no need to panic. Snaky insists it's not ordinary. Who did it? Black-yellow tries to calm him. Snaky yells he can't calm down because that's his home. Two men nearby are talking, saying the wildfire should burn 7 days and should burn that demon snake's nest. An old man says he only has 3 years left of lifespan. His last grudge is ripping off that demon snake's skin and making a snake pill. A disciple encourages his master, saying he'll get what he wants. The master says the disciple is his only longing in the world. He says there's another reason for this trip besides revenge. An elder from headquarters got interested in the demon snake and Myriad Snake Valley. The snake catcher sect plans to build a branch hall there. Then the disciple can go to the branch hall and cultivate. Explains a branch hall can raise local cultivation levels and increase surrounding village development. The disciple asks who the elder is. The master says it's a core formation realm expert. A young man named Yang Zi starts rating the terrain like he's appraising real estate. Flat terrain, 8 points. Mountain springs for livestock, 5 points. Near a river for herb gardens, 7 points. Suitable for spiritual fields but a little ugly, 3 points. The fire keeps burning trees, lighting the pathway. The Wolf King is with Snowy under the fruit tree, howling, and Snaky hears it. Black-yellow comments that even the nest is burning up. Snaky panics for Snowy and the Wolf King. He uproots the fruit tree and orders them to follow him. They run. Snaky promises he'll get them out. He uses water bullet technique to clear flames in their path. Black-yellow tells him his mouth will dry out and that tiny water won't save the forest. Snaky says he knows what a drop in the ocean means. Black-yellow says hot weather causes wildfire sometimes. Snaky argues this fire scale is clearly not an accident. He reminds Black-yellow that Snake Catcher Sect builds branch halls where spiritual energy is rich and snakes are plentiful. Black-yellow asks if Snaky means there's a place nearby suitable for a sect. Snaky says yes, Myriad Snake Valley. He goes there every spring. More than 1 million types of snakes live there. Black-yellow finally understands why the sect would choose it. But he also knows, whenever Snake Catcher builds a branch hall, there's always someone guarding from foundation establishment up to core formation. So it makes sense they burned the mountain. Snaky, furious, wants to charge in and kill those scum. Black-yellow tries stopping him, telling him not to act rash and focus on cultivating. Snaky says he's not stupid, but he senses something ahead. A man in white is standing about 30 meters in front. A cultivator is approaching. Snaky asks if Black-yellow can tell the man's cultivation. Black-yellow jokes that Snaky isn't instantly running away like last time. Then Black-yellow answers like it's nothing. Core formation realm. And Snaky heard that and immediately dove into the dirt like the ground just offered him a lifetime membership. He was already ready to earth traverse out of reality. Black-yellow stared at him like, wow, this is the future primordial beast, huh? Then he finally added way too casually, relax, that one's just a clone, not the real body. Snaky whipped around like, are you serious? You couldn't lead with that? Snaky asked how strong the clone was. Black-yellow admitted he couldn't say for sure, because clones come in levels. The strongest kind is an external avatar, basically at least a fake core formation level. The weakest kind is a paper clone that's only in the chi refinement realm. Right. Then Yang Zi sensed something and instantly started moving. Snaky's scales tightened because the guy clearly noticed something and was rushing in their direction fast. Black-yellow calmly slapped down a concealment talisman. Snaky whispered, "Are we running?" Black-yellow snapped, "Stop panicking. Not even Great Luo, the greatest immortal, could notice this talisman." Then he shushed him hard because Yang Zi was already there. Yangzi stood there and said, 2 points. I can only give your hiding skill 2 points. He told them to stop hiding, then blasted the area while ordering them to come out. Snakey's heart practically tried to crawl out of his throat because even that casual blast felt insane. Black Yellow kept whispering, "Don't panic. He only sensed a presence. He doesn't know where it is, so he can only bluff." Snakey hissed back, "Then why did you just say even the greatest immortal can't see your talisman?" Black Yellow
replied, dead serious. Great Luo is the name of a pet I used to raise. Snakey almost choked on air. Yangzi found nothing, decided it was just his imagination, and also figured the clone's quality was too bad to properly detect anything. He left, saying he had more important business. Myriad Snake Valley was right in front, so he was going to inspect it first and see what score it deserved. Snakey finally exhaled like he'd been holding his breath since birth. Black Yellow immediately asked if Snakey saw the storage ring on the clone's waist. He wanted it. Snakey cut him off. "Go steal it yourself. I value my life. That guy is core formation." Black Yellow sighed like Snakey was a hopeless student and told him to listen first. "If the clone couldn't even see through my concealment talisman," Black Yellow said, "then it's basically a paper tiger. Even if the real body is core formation, this clone is at most foundation establishment. Trust me." He claimed he had more than 50% confidence they could erase the clone. He also said they'd split the reward in half, and he specifically liked that clone's storage bag because there might be a lot of spiritual stones inside. Snakey still hesitated. Even if they killed the clone, the real body would still exist, and Snakey didn't want a golden core/core formation expert retaliating against him later. Black Yellow slid in with the most toxic temptation possible. "So what, you want to stay homeless forever after your home got burned to ashes?" Snakey stopped dead in his tracks. Black Yellow kept poking the wound, asking if Snakey really wanted to swallow that hatred and live like a stray for the rest of his life. Snakey snapped, "You're the dog!" Black Yellow said Snakey clearly understood what he meant, so he asked again, "Revenge or not?" Snakey admitted he wanted revenge, but 50% confidence was too low. So Snakey dumped out the golden scales he'd plucked from his own tail earlier. They were only about half as strong as when freshly shed, but there were a lot. He asked how much confidence they'd have if they added those scales. Black Yellow's eyes lit up. He said that would push it to 70 or 80%. And if they observed and planned a little more, he could get it past 90%. Snakey scanned the area. The wildfire was spreading hard, and things were getting messier by the second. He turned to Snowy and the Wolf King and told them to follow the path to the mountain beside, find a hole, hide, and cultivate properly. He promised he'd come back to find them once he finished his business. In Black Yellow's mind, he figured it was fate for them to have met, so he gave them a little gift. Whether they could digest it and awaken intelligence would depend on them. Meanwhile, Yangzi walked in the Myriad Snake Valley and started rating it like he owned the world. He gave it 10 points, then immediately corrected himself and said it exceeded 10 points. He called it the perfect snake farm. Every spring, all the snakes within 200 meters would gather there, so nothing was more perfect than this. He decided it was time to send the jade slip back because his real body would love this report. Then, he sensed something behind him. A beam of light flashed in the forest. Earlier, he thought it was his imagination, but now he confirmed someone was following him. And they even knew how to set up an array. He blasted part of the area and told them to stop playing hide-and-seek. He didn't hit them because they moved fast. Then, he used gravity technique and spotted a mangy dog. He asked the dog where its master was. Black Yellow's face twisted. Yangzi was shocked when the dog suddenly self-destructed. He refused to believe it was an illusion, then realized something worse. He'd been pulled into an illusion array. That made him anxious there might be an expert hiding nearby.
He decided he should send the slip first, but then Black Yellow's body reformed and attacked, mocking him for believing it was just an illusion. Yangtze didn't expect the minced bits to gather back together, so the exploding dog was real, not fake. Black Yellow dragged a scale across Yangtze's neck, and Yangtze's head dropped from the sky. Black Yellow watched and thought the plan succeeded, but then the headless body grabbed him and started choking him. Yangtze's head was still conscious because he was just a wooden clone. Being headless didn't matter. Yangtze calmly gave them 6 points, saying their trick barely passed. Black Yellow cursed under his breath, complaining dog paws were hard to use. Then he realized what happened. Earlier, he'd told Snaky that a scouting clone should be made of paper, so their plan was simple. Black Yellow decapitates the target, then Snaky follows the plan and they split whatever is in the storage bag. Snaky had worried this might not be a clone at all, and that it could put Black Yellow in danger. But Black Yellow had arrogantly said he could tell at a glance it was worthless, and even told Snaky he had a lot to learn. Now Snaky was furious, yelling at Black Yellow to get his paws off him. Black Yellow panicked and shouted Snaky's name like he was calling for backup. Snaky launched his golden spikes, smashing the clone hard enough to make it loosen its grip and drop Black Yellow. Yangtze's head realized in shock that the dog was only a decoy. Snaky clamped down on the head, then blasted it point blank with fireball. Yangtze's head didn't even sense the technique properly in time. He calmly rated their teamwork as 10 points, and then the clone disintegrated completely. Black Yellow collapsed and complained it hurt. He admitted he miscalculated. Nobody expected it to be a wooden clone. And it was expensive, so using it for scouting was a ridiculous waste. Snaky kept spamming fireballs anyway. Black Yellow yelled at him to stop because the guy was already dead, and if Snaky kept going, even they would turn into ash. Snaky was honestly relieved Black Yellow was still alive. Black Yellow got touched for half a heartbeat, and then the moment immediately turned into bickering. Snaky called him out for that 80% confidence, saying it was flimsy. He called Black Yellow a liar. Black Yellow snapped that Snaky didn't understand anything because just weakening Yangtze's power cost him dearly. He pointed out that without the divine consciousness concealment array, Snaky wouldn't have been able to sneak up at all. Snaky insisted that even if Black Yellow didn't lift a finger, Snaky could have handled it himself. Black Yellow thought Snaky's attitude was outrageous. He couldn't accept Snaky calling it a bluff because Black Yellow was the one who stopped Yangtze from sending the Jade Slip transmission. If that got sent out, they'd certainly be dead. Snaky said fine, then burn it. Black Yellow watched Snaky's black flame burn the Jade Slip and muttered that Snaky's flame was so strong it could even burn Jade. Snaky asked if they were safe now. Black Yellow answered, "Not yet." The news didn't make it back, but the real body was still a Golden Core expert. If that person discovered his clone died there, he'd come personally to investigate. Snaky's face dropped, and then he instantly started running. Black Yellow yelled that Snaky was a coward and told him not to run around like a headless fly. Snaky shouted back that if they didn't run, they'd be waiting to die. Black Yellow explained that the snake catcher sect's influence in Chu country was widespread. So if Snaky wanted to avoid being hunted, he'd have to flee to a neighboring country and lay low for a while. Meanwhile, at Snake Catcher Sect headquarters in an immortal cave abode, Yangtze realized his wooden clone was dead, and even the recording Jade Slip couldn't be retrieved. Instead of panicking, he was amused. Even if that wooden clone's strength was mediocre, its aura and divine consciousness perfectly mimicked a Golden Core cultivator. For someone to see through it and dare to attack it, that caught his attention. Yangtze called his servant, Subet. Bei responded immediately. Yangtze ordered him to bring 5 inner disciples and head to the vicinity of Myriad Serpent Valley to investigate who attacked the clone. Ba accepted the order. At the same time, Snaky and Black Yellow kept fleeing. Snaky complained they'd already run a few hundred miles and asked why they still weren't in Chin country like Black Yellow promised. Black Yellow said it was still far and they'd need a few more days just to reach the border. Snaky was stunned it would take that long and complained he was exhausted. Black Yellow reminded him this was Snaky's own doing. He said Snaky could have just slithered normally, but insisted on using Earth. Retrieve non-stop. Snaky argued he was strengthening his physical body. They reached a remote area with an abandoned excavation site ahead. Black Yellow suggested camping there for the night. Snaky agreed and planned to check what was inside the storage bag. Except Snaky was so exhausted he literally fell asleep out in the open like a fool. Black Yellow woke him up, scolded him, then ended up dragging the sleeping snake into the cave anyway. After that, Black Yellow went out to hunt. After resting, Snaky felt refreshed and said running a few hundred miles with Earth traversal really did make his body stronger. Now, it was time for business. He tried opening the storage bag. He erased the divine consciousness imprint, but the imprint resisted, and he still couldn't open it. He tried again and got hurt. Now he had 2 bumps on his head and still couldn't open it. Black Yellow returned, dragging a deer, and saw Snaky still trying. Snaky finally understood the difference between him and a golden core cultivator. He decided to force it open with his golden scales. Black Yellow stopped him, warning he might damage the treasures inside. Black Yellow offered to do it himself, but Snaky didn't trust him and accused him of secretly hogging everything once it opened. Black Yellow replied it's puss. He asked Snaky for 3 days. 7 days later, they reached Chin Country's border at the Gobi Desert. They decided to camp there for the night and cross in the morning. Snaky told Black Yellow to cook while Snaky dug some more because the soil was hard and rocky, perfect for training. Black Yellow warned Snaky not to overdo it because if Snaky got stuck, Black Yellow wouldn't save him again. Before, Snaky could only push about 100 meters down. After training for days, he hit 200 to 300 meters and could still keep going. But it was miserable. The pressure made his bones feel like they were breaking, and he could barely breathe. Snaky hit his limit and noticed his golden tail scales were growing again. So he confirmed it. More scales are tied to more physical strength. A demonic beast can't just level up rapidly without strengthening the body. Snaky came back and asked if Black Yellow finished cooking. Black Yellow said he already ate, and all the leftovers were for Snaky. He also said he finally undid the storage bag's divine consciousness, but it left him exhausted. He told Snaky to open it later. Snaky teased him for claiming it would only take 3 days. Then Snaky opened it and saw pills, talismans, herbs, low-level treasures, techniques, and jade slips. It was mostly ordinary stuff. There were no spiritual stones. Snaky was confused why a golden core cultivator's storage bag looked poorer than Mu Yun's stash. Snaky asked if Black Yellow wanted to look since they were splitting it. Black Yellow said it was useless to him. Snaky got suspicious. Black Yellow sensed that, and claimed there was no way a master would steal his disciples' items. Snaky instantly exploded with rage, yelling for Black Yellow to hand over what he was hiding. Black Yellow panicked and blurted that he didn't take any spiritual stones. And Snaky was like, "I didn't even say spiritual stones." Black Yellow basically outed himself with his own mouth. Black Yellow tried suggesting they talk calmly, but Snaky kept attacking and wouldn't let it go. Finally, Black Yellow admitted there were 10 spiritual stones, and they'd split it in half. Then he tried to gaslight Snaky, claiming it was for Snaky's own good because Snaky was young, and Black Yellow was helping store it, and Snaky could use it freely later when he needed it. Snaky told him to get lost because Snaky was busy reading the jade slip techniques. One technique caught Snaky's attention. Black Yellow said it was the method to refine wooden clones. He said it was only good for bluffing people and wasn't worth learning. He claimed it was better to learn another clone art, one where the clone can even be stronger than the caster's real body. That grabbed Snaky instantly. Black Yellow revealed that art was one of the 6 immortal arts, puppet technique. Teen Country's top sect, the Heavenly Puppet Sect, specializes in it. It's rumored their puppets are stronger than their casters, they don't feel pain, and their bodies are comparable to demonic beasts. Around 80 to 100 puppets can be deployed at the same time. Not only are they unmatched among people of the same rank, They can even kill someone in a higher realm. Snakey immediately started daydreaming, imagining learning it, and before any fight even starts, he'd drop 100 puppets on someone and let them throw hands first. Black Yellow saw him drifting off, pinched Snakey's cheeks, and told him to sleep because they had to cross early tomorrow. At dawn, Black Yellow introduced the geese.
Descending river. Just like the name says, not even geese can fly over it. And of course, normal cultivators can't either. Snakey asked if they could just swim across. Black Yellow warned him not to even think about using water traversal, because the river is full of whirlpools. He told Snakey not to get cocky, pay money, and ride the boat. Only one boat goes to Chin Country per day. Someone told the boatman he wanted to board. The boatman turned and asked who was speaking. The person said he had no money on him. The boatman didn't notice the creature at first because it was short and hiding under a cloak and hat. Then the creature offered a spiritual stone. The boatman's whole attitude changed instantly. He happily welcomed the creature aboard and even guided him carefully, because, of course he did, it was a spiritual stone. Some rowdy men saw the short cloaked figure and started mocking it. The cloaked figure looked at them silently, and then, boom! A gust of wind blasted those men off. Everyone watching freaked out, calling the small creature an immortal. Under the disguise, Black Yellow scoffed that those idiots dared laugh at him. Snakey immediately hissed that Black Yellow was the one who said they needed a low profile. But now Black Yellow was making trouble. They heard someone say that Elder Joe, Chin Country's little prince, was already on board. Someone else replied with gratitude for showing him the way. Black Yellow muttered that the voice sounded familiar. A woman escorted Elder Joe in. Black Yellow saw him and instantly recognized him. It was the carefree sect guy who raised the chickens. Snakey whispered, "Run!" Black Yellow said not to move because running would make them obvious. So Black Yellow rode on Snakey's back and hid deeper under the cloak and hat. Black Yellow said since they were disguised, as long as they didn't move around, they wouldn't be noticed. Snakey blamed Black Yellow, saying, "A dog's nose should be ridiculous. He should have warned Snakey before the elder got close." Black Yellow hushed him and argued nobody would remember the smell of some old, smelly man. Elder Joe stopped and said he sensed a familiar aura. He assumed it was an old friend. Snakey tried to move, but Elder Joe told them to stop and asked if they'd met before. Snakey panicked, not knowing whether to run toward land or jump into the river. Black Yellow forced himself calm and faced Elder Joe while keeping the face hidden. Then Black Yellow spoke first, saying Elder Joe had a good memory since they only met briefly at an auction last time. Snakey thought that excuse was complete nonsense, but Elder Joe actually remembered and said they met 6 years ago at an auction. Black Yellow praised his memory. An attendant came to get Elder Joe, saying the little prince was waiting on the second floor. Elder Joe said goodbye since he had business to handle. Snakey whispered, "Is that enough? Did you really meet him before?" Black Yellow said people in sects go to auctions all the time, and auctions have crowds. Elder Joe wouldn't truly remember, and old men especially hate admitting they have bad memory. Snakey felt relieved they dodged another bullet. He suggested hiding in a corner. Black Yellow called him cowardly and said if the worst came, they'd just fight. Snakey shot back that Black Yellow was scared too. His sweat was literally dripping onto Snakey. Snakey also noticed Elder Joe and Chin Country felt unrelated, yet they were together. Black Yellow explained, the world's bustle is driven by profit, and the world is in turmoil because everyone chases profit. Snakey asked what profit. Black Yellow guessed Chin Country might be seeking glory, then sighed that Snakey was just a snake, and there was no point explaining. By the time they reached Riverside City at Chin Country's border, it was already nighttime. Black Yellow said the city got chaotic at night, so they should find a place to rest. They picked an inn, demanded a quality private room, and ordered the best food and drinks. Downstairs was packed with loud drunks and rowdy men. The receptionist guided them up, and soon their dishes arrived. They even ordered booze.
The food looked so good that both Snaky and Black Yellow were drooling. They dismissed the servant once the person left. Then it was mealtime. They devoured the food. Snaky liked the demonic fish. Black Yellow was excited about the booze, saying it had been a while. Snaky asked what it tasted like. Black Yellow took a sip, then spat it out, calling it trash. Snaky instantly suspected there were drugs in it. Black Yellow looked almost impressed that Snaky knew about that. Then Black Yellow said Snaky's eyesight was bad because the booze wasn't the only thing drugged. The food was too. Snaky immediately spat the food out and yelled at Black Yellow for not saying it earlier. Black Yellow said they were in Riverside City, a lawless place, and Snaky shouldn't be alarmed. It was just a drug. He handed Snaky an antidote. Then he said since those people started it, they shouldn't blame Snaky and Black Yellow for what happens next. Downstairs, someone yelled that the dose wasn't enough. He ordered the servant to bring another roasted demonic beast. The servant told the master that the customer already ate 1,000 taels of silver worth of food and 2 whole demonic beasts. He asked if they should keep bringing more. The master ordered them to continue and switch to the strongest immortal weakening pill. Since the target still hadn't dropped, they assumed the target's cultivation was incredible. The master figured the target must have lots of money and treasures, so it would all be worth it. And even mocked that the idiots really served a demonic beast. Just the leftovers would feed them for days. Snaky asked if they were really going to leave it like that. Black Yellow grabbed the bag and went, "Yeah, we're leaving." Then he looked at Snaky and asked if he wanted to pay that scam in. And Snaky was like, "Pay? Pay? Bro, there's literally a human skull hanging in their kitchen." But what Snaky actually meant by pay was murder these dudes and take their money. So here's the deal. If you want part 2, spam the comments with part 2. And don't just watch and vanish. Hit subscribe and activate the bell so you don't miss the next drop. Because the moment part 2 goes live, it's going to get way more insane than this. Now comment part 2 and let's see how many of you are really riding with Snaky.